Oh, there it is.
Probably should have warned you before we like ended the intro. Right, we're actually on now, Clim.
Yeah, that would have been good.
It would have been good, but to be fair, this is like the first time out of like 50 streams that I haven't warned you before we've actually gone out.
It's true.
Yeah.
Sorry, everybody.
The problem is that I was like, okay, let me reset RetroArch and get this started. That's not right.
This isn't Skies of Arcadia at all.
I need to check if there's an option to have RetroArch keep playing even after you click out of it.
I think there is. Oh, thanks for shouting me out.
Yeah, thanks for shouting Clim out.
That's me.
That should be updated now, though, because I typed it all in before we started.
Oh, yeah, maybe just a refresh, because it does show Final Fantasy VI on my end.
Yeah. How you doing, May? Star? Bane?
What's going on, guys?
So, we're back. We're back with more critical discussions of Final Fantasy VI.
Indeed.
How you doing today, Clim?
I'm doing alright. It's hot, but I'm persevering. I'm ready, I'm excited. We're getting things going.
Go take a dip in the river to cool off.
Maybe. I might.
I mean, we're not starting with Sabin. But,
oh yeah, that. Okay.
Yeah, because that's where we're at.
Of my nearby river.
Nearby river.
That's my bad.
The idea of just like, yeah, no, I'm gonna go and take a dip in a river is such a weird idea to me.
It's true. Yeah. Really moving bodies of water aren't really the best plan for that.
Well, it's not the most hygienic thing. They're probably not clean. Anybody could have dumped anything upstream. And also, like, if it's even slightly fast moving.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, still waters run deep.
So, does somebody want to type in !sound for me? I would do it, but it would click out of RetroArch and pause the entire thing.
On it.
There we go. So we have a bunch of new sound alerts. So chant is new, death, humans.
Your words are as empty as your soul.
Let me just turn that down, goddamn.
What a thrill.
There we go. The cooldown seems to actually be done now.
Nice. Fantastic.
So we're actually getting the sound alerts. Expecting the death zone, that Dark Souls death sound. You should know me.
Okay.
I'm Castlevania way before like almost everything else. At least 3 of those sound alerts are from Castlevania Symphony of the Night. Type in success if you would for me, Clim.
Success.
Success!
So that's good. Because like we got the let's like load up for Clim.
Nice.
Wait, are you getting audio on mine?
I'm not getting audio from the Discord. I have to turn up.
Because we had this working last week where you had game audio from me.
I did, and I don't have it right now.
Bastard.
Yeah, I know.
Let me work this out.
That was game audio. The sounds wouldn't come through the Discord anyway.
Yeah, that's what I'm after the game audio.
Yeah.
And you're not getting the game
Yeah,
audio through Discord. Alright. If necessary, I'll just give you RetroArch.
Oh. Hear anything? me?
Oh, there must still be a cooldown because I didn't hear the power one. Ow. That makes me think I want to get one of the I need to get some Simpsons lines in this. Like with how much we quote Simpsons, there can't not be Simpsons lines.
True.
But like, oh, it's power, but it's like power, and that makes me think of Mayor Quimby.
Okay, yeah.
I have to stay home and having an evening with the wife. I haven't seen that episode in a long time. That's the one where Homer's the bodyguard.
Yeah.
And it features Mark Hamill. Homer.
Well, that's right.
Use
yeah.
the force. The forks! Use the forks! Alright, so are you getting game audio?
Let me check, because it's, I know you turned the game audio down, it became low, so let me turn my mic off to crank up the volume, hang on. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, if I turn my volume up, I can hear it. So the sound is definitely coming through the Discord. It's just because you have it low so that it doesn't drown you out, it's hard to hear. But I can always turn the stream audio up to be able to hear it.
You might be able to specifically adjust it on the Discord. I'm not sure. I don't know. But it's working, that's the point. Let's do power.
Row, fight the power!
So those are considerably louder for me now as well.
Yeah.
This is a good looking title.
Yes. It is. Very, very simple. I always liked it. I thought it was cool.
Like, don't get me wrong, I love the Final Fantasy VI thing, and the FF6 logo is my favourite logo in the series.
Right.
Game volume could go down here. Thank you, Teak.
Going on, Teak.
Put that down there. So we are currently playing as Mog.
Right, in the void, right?
Yes. Thanks for shouting Teak out. He was playing Super Mario Brothers with a really cool dude who carried the entire game.
Got him.
I know, Teak did some really good stuff in Mario 3, and I feel like I also did some really good stuff. There was good stuff there, but there was also, like, a lot of fuck-ups on both sides. Like, Teak did Skyworld so much better than I did for a while. Like, I was stuck on the bottom for a while. Alright, so, the three-way split. Clim, how do you feel about this?
The split? Like, the split itself?
Yes.
I hated it, actually. And the reason I hated it is because something we were talking about last week, how the game progresses very quickly. You get Edgar, and you get Sabine. You get Sabine. Within like 10 minutes of each other. You have no time to actually figure out who they are, and now you're already splitting up your party members. So Terra, who you've had this whole time, suddenly is gone, and you have to play as one of these other guys for a while. So I never really cared for it.
It's a fair point. Like, look at the game time we're at, and it's less than 2.5 hours in.
Yeah.
It's like, it happens early on.
Yeah. And I guess the same could be said in 7, but you get split off and you still have Cloud. Like, you still have your main character. Here, yeah, you could choose Terra, but eventually you're going to have to play as Locke. You're going to have to play as Sabine. So.
Let's do Locke first.
Sure.
Oh, I forgot we'd named Locke Bane. Bane has worked hard to stymie the efforts of the Imperial troops, but now he desperately needs to escape. This, I think, is one of the more finicky sections of, like, early game. You've got the one character, you have to find the merchant and try and navigate your way around South Figaro. And it's a little awkward on your first time.
Sure.
Did I buy more speed shoes? I did not. Well, we're walking. Like, knowing what to do, not a huge issue now.
Sure.
Although, worth noting, the password issue, when we get to that. They never actually give you the password, you have to guess it.
Okay.
Yeah, thief, Bane, aren't you? I'll rip your fucking lungs out.
Jesus.
Like, I love this original localization because it's got so much personality to it.
Yeah. It's pretty aggressive, though. Also, he literally has an ability called Steal. So I never really cared for...
it's semantics. Like, it's always been semantics. He's trying to portray himself as something more romantic than a treasure hunter, which speaks to his character as well.
That's fair. I always thought he was just an asshole.
Well, he is.
That as servant level.
But, like, there's a reason for him being an asshole.
Alright.
If I...
When you take things from people by force, it's robbery. Star, you like this battle theme? We were talking about that last time.
Alright, I'm just gonna leave it like that. I feel like I'm making it worse.
You're still working on it?
Yeah, I'm still... That's probably as good as it's gonna get. Anyway. Little sack, but the price was right. Like, I like Locke as a character. He is an arsehole, but... Like, Final Fantasy VI does have a good way of establishing why a lot of the characters are the way they are.
Okay. It could be possible that I just didn't allow him to be redeemed. I don't remember what he does that redeems that quality or explains that quality.
Well, it helps that he is a good person. Like, that's the thing. Like, nobody in the party is irredeemable or, like, an awful person. There's no Kate Sith in the group. There's no Kane in the group. Somebody who keeps betraying the group.
Okay.
Like, are there any other...
I would say...
Are there any other examples in the FF series?
Of characters that betray you.
Characters that are just kind of the ones that you despise because of who they are as people.
Hope.
Yeah, Hope. There is Edge. I don't like Edge. That's because, like,
From 4.
Edge is outright just a twat.
Okay.
Oh, I thought I was gonna be able to just walk past this guy. Shit.
Huh.
That was a mistake.
Snow. So Snow gets a lot of heat. I like Snow. I'm gonna say it right now. I like him.
I think it's unfair to go into Final Fantasy 13. Because I think that none of the characters are well written. With, like, the exception of Zaz. I think a big part of the problem with FF13's characters is none of them are relatable or seem reasonable, except for Zaz. Like, Zaz's entire motivation is understandable. He's trying to reunite with his son and protect his son. Everybody else is, for the most part, just being a dick. Especially Lightning.
Yeah, the whole standoffishness they were trying with Lightning, like it got old for me. I like Lightning as a character, but that attitude, like, you can't just break for 2 minutes. Like, you can't just have a human side for 2 minutes. And again, like, it goes back to her own past, but at the same time, it's like, is it that bad?
Like, I'll admit Lightning gets better. Like, she does, once she learns. But Lightning's character development kind of ends not long after she gets Odin. Or if not ends, like, stops for a very long time. After that, everybody else has to get their character development. And in some cases, those character developments are just paused so the story can move to a new location, so other characters can be doing stuff, or is regressed. Like, I like Fang as a character up until, like, the end of the game where she decides she has to fight the group for some reason.
Right, yeah, that comes out of nowhere. Like, oh, hey, for reasons. Oh, okay, Fang. Because otherwise, Fang isn't really doing a whole lot.
Yeah.
She's just kind of there.
Just a party member who knows more than the others.
Yes.
But we're getting off the point of, like, the characters in 6.
Sure.
And I don't think any of them are bad characters. The worst you can really say about any of them is they're not really developed. But that's only really the case with, like, Mog isn't particularly developed.
Sure.
Umaro and Gogo.
Sure.
Strago comes along a little late, which is unfortunate. So he and Realm don't get a whole lot.
Right. I could support getting to know them better. Gao I don't like. I know there's a story there. Isn't there a relation there between him and Strago, or is that not a thing?
No, that's someone else that will... Is it worth going into?
I mean...
It's Shadow. Yeah, it's Shadow. It's an optional thing you can find, but it's Shadow. Gao's father, you can find him. And, like, the guy's delusional.
Right. Is there a good reason that Strago and Bandit couldn't have been the same person? Probably not. I mean, then you have the side characters, like, well, I mean, we can get into it as it happens. It doesn't have to be right now. But I think, you know, a lot of people's like for Final Fantasy VI comes from character development. And so that's fine. That's all well and good. But there's just so many characters. And you have, like, I don't know, you have Terra, like, even the 4 that you start with, right? You have Terra, you have Locke, you have Edgar, and Sabin, right? If they left it there for me, then they could have it as it is. Then they're going to add Celis, which is fine. Celis is a fine addition. Although, her runic ability, if it gets explained, it does not get explained well.
We'll go through that, because it's explained in this scenario.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
We'll get to it soon.
Yeah. And then you have these other characters that their mechanics are weird, like Shadow. Like, he'll join the party and then, like, I'm gonna leave now. Oh, okay. So, like, the coolest looking character in the game is temporary until further notice. So that's where the characters start to, like, get on my nerves in that respect. And I'm stuck with Locke with his stupid bandana and scraggly hair.
I feel like you might not like Final Fantasy 2.
I might not.
Have you ever looked up the art for Therion?
No. But you gotta get his bandanas. I think his is stupid. Bandanas are fine. It's just he looks ridiculous. I never liked the art for this game, to be honest. I thought it was just bad, actually. Like, I thought it was straight up bad.
I think part of the issue is, like, the Amano artwork is always more... It's very subjective, but it's always less connected with the game, more conceptual.
Mm-hmm.
And, like, have you seen the Amano artwork for 7?
I have not.
Because, like, look at that, you'll see, like, a lot of the same kind of things that you don't like about the artwork for 6. But 7 has a different thing of, like, the designs themselves by Nomura.
Right, okay, yeah. I get it. Yeah, I don't know, like, I get the style of it, like, I can see the style in that work. Like, it fits the origins of the game. I just think it's... I think it's lackluster.
Well, the Amano artwork is something I can appreciate as artwork. I don't want it to be around the game. And one thing that I'm not fond of with, like, the GBA version is it adds character portraits. And those character portraits are the Amano artwork.
Right.
Even when they don't fit. And, like, you did the Super Nintendo version of FF5, didn't you?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
The GBA version has the Amano artwork, again, as character portraits. And in some cases, they just don't match the appearance.
Yeah.
Like, the Amano artwork for Galuf has a mustache, not a beard.
Right.
But the beard is Galuf's defining feature.
Right.
So I can absolutely understand your distaste with the Amano artwork.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, again, it doesn't look... You know, like, whatever, artist's interpretation, I'm fine with that. That doesn't bother me. What bothers me is that it just... I don't know.
I think, like, I might be wrong with this, but Amano may have been the character designer for the main characters in this, which would be part of your concern. And then, like, the sprites themselves are then built off that and then reworked, however. Because, like, I like Locke's character sprite, where the bandana doesn't cover his hair, but his actual artwork, the bandana does. I like Terra's sprite, where she has the green hair, but the Amano artwork has the blonde, and so on and so forth.
Right. And obviously it doesn't affect the way the game is played, it's just, it's visual appeal, you know? It's like, you know, you order a steak, you don't want that cut into little pieces and mashed, like, you want that full steak put on your plate. Best analogy I can offer. Mashed potatoes don't apply, because god damn do I love mashed potatoes.
I also love mashed potatoes. we had mashed potatoes yesterday. We had like a roast dinner yesterday. It's like, I fucking love mashed potatoes.
Nice.
Good mashed potatoes.
Yeah, buddy.
So yeah, this sequence is one of those sequences, the kind of which, like, I like in games usually, but this can be very cryptic on your first playthrough, and it can be such a pain to get through.
Yeah, and I think what gets me a lot, and what gets me in, there's certain sequences in Parasite Eve that got me lost, like in Central Park, or the hospital, right? And ironically, both of those places play the same music. So music plays a big role in how I feel. It makes me feel anxious when I hear that music now, because I remember getting lost. This does the same thing. So the music that's playing in this town, it's nice, it's pleasant, but it's also eerie. And it's also very slow. And so in a part where you're trying to figure out where to go and you can get lost and not know what to do, the music starts to like drill into my brain a little bit and make me feel like, oh my god, like when do I get out of here? You know?
So here's an interesting bit of censorship for you.
Yep.
That you may or may not be aware of. That punch is removed, like both those punches. 3 punches.
All these punches
are removed from the GBA version and possibly the Pixel remaster.
Yeah. I don't know.
Product of genetic engineering, battle-hardened Magitech Knight with spirit as pure as snow. What does that mean?
Excellent.
The mighty Chrono has fallen. That's what you think. Like, Sellers is one of my favourite characters in the game. Like, I like Sellers.
Celis is cool. She's got a good character. I dig it.
It's like... There's the argument, which we mentioned last time, of like, who's the main character? Is there a main character? And for the sake of just having a main character, it's often referred to as Terra.
Yes.
But there is a good case you could make for Sellers being the main character. I can go for days without sleep.
I mean, you physically can't, sir.
I mean, you can, but like, you aren't going to have a good time with it.
Depends on how many days.
You ever see any of those studies of sleep deprivation?
I haven't seen any, but I know there's some wacky things that happen to people.
But the fun joke is, like, he's immediately asleep.
Oh. Of course. Wait a few minutes.
Are you a little short to be a merchant?
Change now.
So, as I used to be General Chrono. Now I'm just General. So if everybody wants to call me General Chrono for the rest of the stream, that'd be fine.
Excellent.
The General formerly known as Chrono. Like, you talk about Sellers' runic ability, and it's one of the weird things with FF6, which ties in more to the older style of Final Fantasy, which, let's be fair, neither of us really grew up with.
Right.
Because, like, we both started on 7, and it was like 8 and then 9, and then the early ones came after that.
Right.
But it's the older style of everybody having specific roles, specific things they do.
Yeah.
Which I think is most prevalent in 4, 6, and 9.
Okay.
And somewhat 10.
Yes.
But I think 9 does a better job of explaining how everybody's abilities work.
Agreed.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's just, you know, comes with the time, you know? Like, a game gets made, and, you know, the instructions get put in, and they're like, okay, cool, this is good. Well, it's like, but you don't realize the little tweaks you could have made in wording that makes it clearer. And so then you have a game like 9 that comes later that adds upon that. But the idea is good. It's just executed poorly.
A lot of it can just be not explaining things.
Yeah.
The specific method of explanation can be the make or break point. A reference that I'm going to bring up is Residents of Fate, which is a game that I've been after doing for the stream for a while. I've had that game for several years, and the main reason I haven't played it properly is because the tutorial is pretty extensive, and you go into the tutorial area, and it's got this huge list of tutorial topics. And it's always like, do I want to sit down and deal with that?
Right.
But I've heard, like, once you get through that, the battle system is actually really fun, really cool, really unique to play.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it comes down to the specific presentation of such. How you explain it, how you present it. We mentioned Sabin's Blitz ability last time. And they do explain to you, partway through the battle, how to do the pummel ability you need to pull off to win that fight.
Right.
However, they also... I've had it before where they've explained that to me, and then I've immediately died before I could do it.
Yes. Hey, there we are. Oh god.
Some bread,
Some
too.
bread too. What a character.
So while we're making our escape here, does anybody want to do another one of those sound alerts? Find the clock.
Wind it. Wind the clock. Find the key.
What does Celis currently have?
You are worthy.
Yeah, that's a good one. It's a good thing I checked that. Nobody was equipped with anything.
Yeah.
And then we get into a random battle right afterwards. I think that's a decent one. It can be like a good positive reinforcement.
Hmm.
Did you hear it?
I did.
Yeah.
I turned it up when I saw it typed. I have a couple of seconds before it plays on stream. So I have time to turn up the volume.
That's a Legacy of Kain one. I'll probably let me turn this down because I keep peeking the mic.
Mm.
That's a Legacy of Kain one. You are worthy, Raziel.
That's such a good game. Well, Soul Reaver 2 is a good game. Soul Reaver is friggin' hard, and everything looks the same, and I got lost, so I never beat it.
Soul Reaver 1 has aged. Like, it's aged
Yeah.
not great. Well, I could argue
Yeah.
that of most of the Legacy of Kain series.
Sure, yeah. I tried playing the original Legacy of Kain. It was like a top-down Zelda-style thing, yeah.
Yeah, Blood Omen.
Yeah, Blood Omen, right. Blood Omen 2 was fun as hell, though.
I have a lot of nostalgia for Blood Omen 2. It's often regarded as the weakest of the series.
Okay.
But I have a lot of nostalgia for it, and I love its aesthetic.
So I played it well after I played even Defiance. Defiance?
Yeah, Defiance was the last one.
Yeah. And oh man, it played so nice for me. I enjoyed it. Like, I thoroughly enjoyed all the mechanics of it. I don't remember a lot of them, but I remember enjoying them, you know? Oh, but anyway, Runic. Did they talk about it yet?
No,
Did I miss it?
they talk about it in the boss battle that ends this scenario.
Got it.
I have most of the Legacy of Kain series on PC. The only one I don't have is Blood Omen because they only re-released that on PC last year.
Okay.
But like Blood Omen 2 on Steam, I've not managed to get it working on this. It keeps crashing for some reason. But on my laptop, I got it running, playing it. Like, it's so nice. And just Steam has this feature where you can map like keyboard controls and mouse to controller, and you can find configurations other people have set up and saved and everything.
Okay.
And like, it plays so well like that because it also gives you proper camera control.
Yeah.
Like, it's really good that way.
Hmm.
And it looks fantastic. I'm gonna need y'all motherfuckers to stop.
Ooh, can you cure all in this game? Is
Yes.
this one of those things? Okay.
I think it's the same with 4 and 5 as well. When you get the magic ready, you have to press one of those shoulder buttons.
Yeah, see, I think in 5 you had to press the directional button until it selected all. So, like, to select your party in a normal fight, you know, not a back attack, you would press right until it got selected to all. I don't think the shoulder buttons did anything in 5. I think they added the shoulder thing in 6. I could be wrong, but having just played 5, I don't remember using the shoulder buttons. And in fact, I remember many times where the frame rate wasn't working for me and I wasn't sure that I selected everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because the icon, the cursor flashes,
Right.
and like it's just gone invisible for you because it's not, the frame rate isn't displaying properly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I fixed that when I played Super Metroid, though. Because it never was a problem in Final Fantasy V. It became a problem in Super Metroid. Frame rate.
Yeah, it's much less of an issue with emulation these days than it used to be.
Yeah.
Like Sonic, classic Sonic was always like really bad looking with that, because like the shields and the surface of water and stuff.
Yeah.
You remind me of the Babe.
A babe.
Babe with the power.
Power.
Power of voodoo.
Who do?
You do.
Do what?
Remind me of the Babe.
Awesome.
I saw my baby trying hard as babe could try. What could I do? So, we're gonna do this when we're close to the end now, just to get through this cave system. Then we'll do Terra's scenario, because it's really short. And then, like, the meat of today's stream is going to end up being the Sabin scenario.
Right. Yeah, because there's a lot there.
There's 2 party recruitments, 3 if you count Shadow's temporary. Like 4 areas. There's a lot. Alright. So, I think we left all the treasure chests here last time. Which is something you can do during the game. You can leave treasure chests in some places. And then when you come back later, there'll be different, better items.
I assumed that's what you were doing, because I saw you pass a few, and I was going to ask, but I think you were in the middle discussing something, and I didn't want to make a thing out of it.
Yeah, it's possible.
And then I just kind of used my brain to think about it. Don't forget to recruit the ghost on the train. Yeah, I was saying that before.
I mean, I always
So
do.
many party members.
I always do recruit Ghost on the train. There's a webcomic that had, like, a really good rendition of that. It might have been Awkward Zombie. But I'm not sure.
Trilobiter. I love that. Like, oh, it's a trilobite. Nah. Trilobiter.
Biter.
Oh, God.
Tiger. Tiger, tiger. I don't know if I ever shared that picture on the Discord, but like a picture of like Sagat in the tiger knee position, like over, like on a bed, as like who agrees that this is like the best sleeping position?
Oh, okay, yeah. Yeah, and it is. to be fair. Did you ever see when Resident Evil 3 came out on PlayStation, there was a side-by-side comparison of Sagat and Nemesis?
You mean like original RE3?
Yes. Yeah, for PlayStation.
No, I don't. Doesn't ring a bell.
So, yeah, back in the day, it might have been Nintendo Power Magazine. I don't know. I think it was a magazine somewhere. Maybe it was even the strategy guide. In fact, I wonder if I still have that, and maybe I could see it. I'll have to look into it for you. But there was side-by-side, and it showed art of Sagat, like holding somebody up by their neck, and like some other things, some other neat side-by-side things of poses of Nemesis and poses of Sagat, and how they're like the same. And I thought it was very, very cool. Both being Capcom origins, you know? I'll have to find it. There's a side-by-side comparison somewhere. Maybe I can find it online.
It was that thing when X-Men Apocalypse was coming out, and like one of the most prominent images of it was Apocalypse holding Mystique up by the throat, and then people cried foul with sexism.
Nice. Let's see. Can I just... Yeah, let's just do this. Boom. There it is. I thought it was pretty cool. But yeah, any X-Men images I'm not sure on, because I never really was into X-Men too much.
From the movies.
Oh, okay. Did see those. Well, some of them. You're talking about X-Men Apocalypse?
Yeah.
Is that a movie? Yeah, I never saw that one.
Well, it wasn't great.
That's a bit of a stretch. What, the images I shared, Deke? Yeah, no, it's not, it's not like a huge conspiracy. I just remember seeing it in my past, and I thought it was cool. I just thought it was a cool parallel to what we were talking about.
I feel like I've never been poisoned this much before in this area. I feel like this has been a really rough playthrough so far, and it feels like it's going to stay that way.
Yeah, probably.
So while we're traveling through the cave, anything catch your eye from the recent announcements?
I didn't watch any of that.
No, I didn't, but I've seen some of the individual announcements.
Yeah.
Just like the Nintendo Direct was at like 3 PM for us. It was like, great, I'm in work.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw some people go live for it, but I was probably watching more important people. And Barbie.
Hey,
Well,
it's legendary
well,
streamer Fox on Cat.
Got you, girl.
Thanks, shout out, Cat Clim. Octopath Traveler 2. Get it wherever you're most comfortable, Teak.
Huh. It's a good question. You know, a lot of games have those, like, bonuses that you can get if you have it on the same, like, system.
I think
So that's
Octopath
something
Traveler
worth looking
did get a PC release, so you can own them both on PC now. Some
Showcase happened, yeah, that's what I hear.
Yeah, some showcase happened where they announced that they're not going to call Yakuza anymore.
Is that right?
Yeah, they're going to change the series name to, like, the translation of the Japanese name. Ryuga Gotoku, Ryuga Gogotu, or something. It's translating to Like a Dragon. So the series is going to be called Like a Dragon.
Okay. Considering all the like magic powers that I see in that game, it makes a little bit more sense. Is there a reason they're doing that? Is the like actual Yakuza coming down on them for it?
No, I think chances are the main reason is they have a spin-off coming out soon. Ishin. And they're releasing it's a remake of a spin-off set in the Edo period of samurai.
Oh.
Thunder Rod.
For the old Thunder Rod.
So like there's no Yakuza there or anything. So calling that Yakuza would just be a legacy title that would mean nothing.
Gotcha. So Yakuza with swords.
So renaming that Like a Dragon works better for that.
Okay.
What was the Breath of the Wild 2 has a name. I haven't actually watched the trailer because I don't care too much anymore.
Yeah, my brother's gonna be getting a Switch for his kid, my nephew.
And then you're gonna steal
so
it for Bayonetta 3.
Yes. Yeah, no, I'll be over there and playing that. I'll probably go halvesies with the Breath of the Wild for him.
I'll kill you, Dragon
I'll cure
Ball.
you, Dragon Boy.
So we picked up the Thunder Rod, and here's a fun thing for you. If we throw the Thunder Rod at the next boss, it's an instant kill.
Oh, that's exciting.
I am so sick of this poison.
I do like the little bubbles, though.
I don't think this game has sap, which is good because I absolutely hate sap as a thing in FF5.
Yeah, it's trash. I hate it.
Oh yeah, no, but health's ticking down, and there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, you just have to heal and wait it out.
Fuck.
Like, everything does it. Like, every boss does it, and every boss has a different attack that causes it. Slip being my least favorite.
So what else was there? Splatoon 3, which I don't care about. Bayonetta 3 got like more stuff out of it, but like, I'm not watching any more Bayonetta 3 now that they finally showed off gameplay. Because it's like, I was probably going to get Bayonetta 3 anyway.
Right. Yeah, Bayonetta is just a fun game.
Alright, here we go. So this fight teaches you about Runic.
Right. Tunnel armor.
Tunnel armor. I'll draw its magic attack. It won't hurt us. Come again? I can simply absorb the attack with my Runic blade. You sure you'll be okay? Just you watch. So it's like, okay, use Runic.
Right.
And like, it's not a complete explanation of how it works, but you get an idea from this, and then experimenting later will teach you like more of it. Like how it only does magic attacks, but it absorbs any magic that's cast after that. So if you cast magic after using it, then Sellers will absorb that.
I think that's why I got confused by it. Nice.
There are some fights where Runic is essential or like a complete game changer.
Yeah. Yeah, when I played it most recently, I did find myself using it a lot more because I understood it, finally, you know? Oh, wow, that was quick. An elixir. It'll go well in our inventory for the next forever.
No, I said, I think it was in Teague stream yesterday, like, I've gotten pretty good at actually using the elixirs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I remember you said that. And I was saying it, playing Resident Evil, where I've actually gotten better at it because of streaming. Like, just use it. You're gonna have them. Just use it.
Leading the Empire's troops, Bannon, Why Did Bite Me, and Clim ride the rapids towards Narch. The going won't be easy. And the going gets tough.
Oh, yeah.
Oh no, Aerodactyl.
Pterodon.
Oh no, Riddler.
Ridley.
While Teague's here, actually, rare bit of positive, rare positive note about Metroid Other M. It has probably the best rendition of Riddler's theme. Like, it's absolutely fantastic.
But I do remember liking Other M. But that's me, you know. Hell.
Other M's a weird case. Of like, there are just so many bad ideas and bad executions, and everybody saw the bad ideas coming. It was the thing. Like, Team Ninja was blamed for a lot of it because it was developed by Team Ninja, the guys who made Ninja Gaiden and stuff.
Yeah.
And Team Ninja were like a lot of the ideas. They were blamed for a lot of the ideas. But it turns out like almost everything wrong with the game was a direct mandate of the director Yoshio Sakamoto, who is a co-creator of Metroid.
Okay.
Like Samus's personality being what it is, the voice actress having to give a completely monotone performance, the story, the fact that you played the game entirely with a Wiimote, they won't let you use a nunchuck for it for 3D movement.
Right.
Like, it's absolutely crazy. Alright, and we're off.
Alright.
Yeah, how you doing, Magic? And now we're at Narsh.
Narsh!
Hey, lady, didn't you just bust in here wearing magic attack armor? Wasn't that like a week ago?
Nah, that wasn't me.
Wait a sec. Get out of here. Thanks for shouting magic out. Hold on. I'm King Why Do You Bite Me? Of Figaro. Liar. You haven't got any feet pics in your pocket. Hey. Oh god, what year would this have been? Would this have been like post Mighty Morphin Power Rangers?
Yeah, this was mid-90s, wasn't it? 94.
But when did it come out in the US?
Question.
When Bane first helped me, he fiddled around with something right around here. Knowing him, there's probably a copy of Terranigma around here somewhere.
Yeah, it seems like 94. Even on PlayStation, it was 99.
99 for you guys. We didn't get to like 2001.
Wow.
Which actually, you guys might not have gotten until like 2001.
Well, we had it on Super Nintendo.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah. And Power Rangers, I don't know the original series, but
It's Mighty Morphin.
The movie was 95. And it ran from
2002.
August 93 to November 95. So this was after Alpha would have said, ay, 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 ay.
Now you don't end up with any more blackouts, Magic. We're doing okay. We're doing okay, Clim?
Yeah, we're doing all right.
We're doing okay.
We're chilling.
Yeah, I've mentioned this before, but like, for the Americans in the chat who may not be aware, when we got Final Fantasy on PlayStation, like, for a bunch of it, it was the first time we'd ever gotten them. Like, for you guys, when you got Final Fantasy Origins, it was the first time you got Final Fantasy 2. It was the first time we got 1 or 2. And then...
Really?
Yeah, because we didn't get a Final Fantasy game until 7.
Wow. It's still so wild to me that some games just don't release. Like Final Fantasy 1 on NES, like, why?
Final Fantasy... You guys got Final Fantasy Chronicles, which was 4 and Chrono Trigger. We got Final Fantasy Anthology, which was 4 and 5. And it was the first time either of those had been released for us.
Huh.
You got Final Fantasy Anthology, which was 5 and 6, which was the first time you guys got 5.
Right.
We got Final Fantasy 6 bundled with a demo for Final Fantasy 10.
Okay.
Like, we didn't get Chrono Trigger for some reason.
Right. Or Parasite Eve.
Like, that's always been a weird one for me. That they rearranged the Final Fantasy collections.
Yeah, that is strange.
I still have those discs in the box and everything. I've never actually played the FF10 demo. Because, like, when I actually got a PS2, I had Final Fantasy X.
Yeah.
This one.
I remember watching somebody do this, and they just tried to go straight through, and they kept wondering why they were getting into random battles. I felt bad. I couldn't, like, explain. Hold on.
Thank you.
There are Claymore mines here.
I love that in Metal Gear Solid. Like, especially after I discovered you can just go up. You can just go straight up. Because my solution to it was always, okay, let me just crawl and grab all the claymores. Like,
Absolutely.
You don't even have to crawl, you can just run straight up.
The problem, though, then, is coming back. Like, when you have to go get the PSG-1, those claymores are still there. I know this because I exploded on one.
Well, I've got that that clip from Metal Gear Solid Twin Snakes. It's like, okay, let's make sure there are no claymore mines here. And then I run... It's like, oh yeah, no, there are no claymore mines. And then I run straight into a claymore mine. Which, like, I've checked that footage like a dozen times. You cannot see that mine.
Right. I'll have to take a look at that clip. Health.
So the tools are an interesting thing, of like, especially in the early game. Auto crossbow is going to be your main thing for a long time.
Right.
Because, like, it hits everybody for more damage than, like, individual attacks are going to do.
Right. Yeah, it's too good.
And, like, conceptually, anything like that in any other RPG is usually an ability on a character that's gonna die very early.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a fair point. Look at how cool he looks with sunglasses, though.
Billy remains consistently better than his base attack. True.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes
Especially
I'll give
yeah.
Edgar the Genji glove so that he can have 2 regular attacks, but often it is kind of wasted on him because these tools are going to be the primary thing you do.
Yeah.
Aardvark, you here? Arvis, there you go.
Aardvark.
What's happening in Nash? The town's being a dick. Tried to get everybody to side with the Returnals against the Empire, but like, nah, neutrality. The Empire's not going to come and attack us if we're neutral. It's like, what the fuck makes you think that?
Yeah.
Why would you think that? We believe this young woman, Clim, is our only hope of reaching that to the Asper. Pay no attention to the bird. Just like,
I can't help who I am.
just like casually Photoshop the picture we've got of Terra there for next week, so she's just got a beard.
Just kind of like, let's see, which way do I have to turn? Yeah, this way. Right?
The other way.
The other way. This way.
Yeah. And like, look kind of sad. Yeah, we could do that.
That'd be funny. Be like one of those things where you just see my mouth moving in like the cutout of her face.
Some of the ideas we come up with for some of the guests on this stream are fucking ridiculous. Like the thing we've got with the idea with Chance, because Chance wants to, we're gonna do, we're gonna Tensei 4 at some point, and Chance has never beaten him before, so he wants to play alongside us. It's like, okay, so I've got the camera set up that I'm using during co-streams now. So what do we do for Chance's camera? Because I don't want to like be like, oh, Chance, be on camera now. Because Chance doesn't go on camera for his own streams. Don't want to try and do that. So my thought was like, yeah, what if we just get like a picture of a crab? Just Chance does like the crab thing.
Okay.
Or like we just have like a camera pointed at his 3DS with like crab claws holding it.
Crab claws. Oh god.
Oh hey Shadow. So I've said before, like, almost every time I've gotten Shadow here, he has stayed with me until the end of, like, the longest he can. Because when you jump off the waterfall, that's when he will leave if he's still with you.
Okay.
So watch this playthrough. Watch him leave, like, during the camp.
Yeah. I might show up. I might run off at any time. Oh, okay.
I'll be all like, fuck this shit, I'm out.
Yeah.
I should get that as an alert. Oh, this is Gao's father.
Oh, okay.
I didn't remember that this was where he is in World of Balance. I don't have sprint shoes again. I should have taken them off lock, like, when we got to that entrance. So yeah, like, he's delusional.
Right.
I own the dry goods business out here.
Dry goods, huh? I got plenty of good things on sale, stranger.
I got a knife, stranger. You call that a knife, stranger? That's not a knife. This is a knife. I'm gonna take this all the way to my member of parliament. He just goes out into the pig pen. It's an outrage, that is. I'm gonna take you straight to the Prime Minister. Hey, Mr. Prime Minister! Andy! Oh, jeez. So we can buy, like, a bunch of shurikens. Let's buy, like... Let's buy all the shurikens.
Damn.
They're really cheap because they're disposable throwing weapons, but, like... Shadow gets good use out of them with his throw ability, and they do decent damage.
Okay.
And it also
Like
saves me
the
actually
premise.
equipping anything else on him.
Yeah, because if he bounces, does he take the equipment with him?
Yes. Oh no, it's a rabbit. Interceptor.
Nice. Wow.
Yeah, Interceptor's a counter. And will always do, like, really good damage. In terms of the coding, Interceptor is a piece of, like, one of the nasty bugs in this game that can soft lock the game for you. Because
Really?
Interceptor is counted as a status effect on Shadow.
Okay.
And there's a specific ability, I think it's something Realm has, that can swap status effects over onto, like Sabin's poison there, like, can swap that onto an enemy. If she does it on Shadow, she'll swap Intercept over to an enemy. And then you've got,
Interesting.
like, a serious problem.
Yeah. Looks like you're poisoned.
I have no antidotes.
That sucks.
I should have possibly considered buying antidotes.
Yeah, but, you know, you got all those ninja stars. Shuriken. You got the shuriken.
You think you can do this? Shuriken.
Well said. Might as well just let him die and bring him back to life, huh?
That was like the game's dying.
Did you say sounds like? I can't hear anything, so... Did you save before you did that?
We saved recently. I also pressed the wrong button.
Ah.
Yeah. So we saved somewhere.
Yeah. You definitely saved as
There we
these
go.
guys. Yeah. Yeah, just don't get poisoned.
Yeah, it sounds better now. Like, there was something going on with the sound there. It was really weird.
Ah, really? Yeah, like I said, the game volume is so low because you can't have it that loud. I can't hear it. And the only way I could hear it is if I turn the stream up, then I'll hear ourselves delayed, and that'll just confuse me.
Come on. Punch a rabbit in the face.
Yes. And his stupid rabbit face. Robite.
So, ideally, we're gonna get Suplex before we get to the Phantom Forest.
Is that a level-based thing?
Yes. I'm pretty sure, like, all of Sabin's blitzes are. Although this game doesn't tell you when you've gotten new ones. Oh, we already have it.
Hey, there you go.
X, Y, down, up. Yeah, it's essentially mandatory to suplex the Phantom Train.
Yeah.
I like the name Phantom Train better than Doom Train. Because I think Doom Train GF in FF8 is supposed to be this train.
Right. That's what I always thought, too.
Yeah. I like the name Phantom Train better. It's like, Proto Ultimate Weapon. Doomgaze. Flies around the world map in later part of the game.
Yep.
In the later translation, it's called Deathgaze. But I
Right.
prefer the way Doomgaze sounds.
Sure. And of course, there's Death Guys in Final Fantasy IX.
You're Kefka, correct? How are you doing, sir? Where's your mascara? Hey, you petty small talk, just do your job. Bitch. I don't think he's human. Not like General Leo. Good old General
You guys
Leo.
don't even have names. Are you human? You're Soldier A and Soldier B.
Look at you, haven't got a name tag. You two are about to storm Dormer Castle. You'll join the assault team. And Sam walks out. I was like, do you know how many nameless soldiers I've killed in my years? Look at you, I haven't even got a name tag. Why don't you just lie down? You know, lie down on the floor.
Oh, too good. The guy's trying to climb. So silly.
Oh yeah, so we were gonna call Sciantique.
Correct. That was the plan.
A moment, sir. Cyan has a good theme.
Yeah. Yeah, I like his theme.
Hey.
I like Cyan in general.
Faith will return into his family's liege with the courage and strength of 100 men.
Another situation where the character art displeases me. Because he looks like he's about to drop dead.
Yeah, he looks very emaciated.
Yeah.
We felled their commander, surely they'll give up. Let's just give it a try. Fucking stab them. But Cyan's ability Bushido, I'm not overly fond of.
Yeah, I'm not either. Once I figured out that waiting until 4 was the best option, I just do that every time.
So, one is Dispatch, which I think is like a decent damage attack.
Mm-hmm.
2 might be Counter. I can't remember what 3 is.
Yeah, it just takes way too long.
Yeah. I know one of the things they do in Pixel Remaster is let that build up. There you go, Retort. One of the things they do in Pixel Remaster is they let it build up while you can do other commands with other characters.
Right.
I am Teak.
Yeah, and then you just select it.
I am Teak. Hear me roar. Well, like, we talk about character abilities that aren't properly explained. Bushido is, like, one of the worst.
Yes. Does it even tell you in the menu, like, you know how Sabin has Blitz, the inputs in there? Does it tell you that for Cyan or no?
I think it will tell you what they do.
Okay.
We'll have to take a look. All up in there, we can wait out our enemy. Unless they piss in the river.
Right. Who would do that?
Only a madman and a clown. Black Belt. Black Belt's a good relic to have. Dog. Oh no, a dog.
Oh no.
I know how to deal with dogs.
Okay. Oh, I thought you were gonna suplex him.
Probably should have, shouldn't I?
Yeah, that would have been the key, I think.
Oh, these dogs have like a bunch of health.
Well, they're soon gonna be dead. Jesus.
Our dog's better than your dog.
Yeah.
I think having Shadow, like, whenever you can, though.
Yeah.
is definitely a good idea for his character development.
Yes. That was funny. So you're not going to immediately use that star pendant to avoid getting poisoned? Or is that not what star pendant does in this?
That is what Star Pendant does, but it's like, who poisons us here?
Fair enough. I don't know the game as well, so I can't say.
Maybe it's time to learn it, Clim.
Why would I do that?
Because it's gameplay-wise, it's still a decent game. It's like, why do I replay FF7? I like the story and everything, but ultimately I enjoy the game itself.
Sure. Yeah, see, I don't enjoy that in this game.
You don't enjoy the game of this game?
No.
But what about
That's
general...
the whole point of it.
You know what, actually? You want to talk about character art that doesn't match the artwork? General Leo's black.
Really?
Really? There's a point, like, considerably later in the game where we'll have him in our party so we can see his character portrait in the menu. Like, he's black
Right.
or, like, really tan.
Yeah. Ah. Oh, yeah, there he is.
General Leo, though, is one of my favourite characters. He's a really good character.
Yeah, he's a cool guy. I love a good honorable guy on the enemy's side.
Yes. Like, someone who's high up, who respects the people who work under them, respects their opponents and such. It's one of the reasons why Thrawn was always such a popular character in the Star Wars Expanded Universe. So there's a thing they do in Thrawn's establishing novel, Heir to the Empire. They do very early on. Where he asks for the opinion of the captain he's working with, because he's a Grand Admiral, so he's like the highest position. So he asks the opinion of the captain he's working with on the plan that he's set up and they're about to enact. And the captain is like, I'm in an hour over it, because like he's not really agreeing with the plan. But the Empire has a habit of the higher-ups killing people who disagree with the higher-ups. And Grand Admiral Thrawn establishes very early on that it's like, no, that's not the case. You're in this position because you are a very capable soldier, commander, veteran. You didn't get here just through luck or happenstance. You're an established and capable commander, and I would like your honest opinion. And, like, doesn't kill people for failure.
That's nice.
Yeah.
That's a perk. Yeah.
Like, if you've never read the Thrawn trilogy, I recommend it. They're a good series of books.
Okay.
Worth noting, though, like, they are Star Wars pre-prequels, so they have very different ideas of, like, the Force and a lot of stuff with the Jedi and pre-Clone Wars. Stuff that would be retconned later. So take it with the idea of the only things that exist so far are the original trilogy.
Got it.
Fun fact, that's where the name Coruscant first appeared, though.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. It's also a comic adaptation of novels, but you should read the books. Because there's just more to them. Oh, Leo's gone out, piss in this water.
Right.
The concern is when it turns purple.
Yeah.
Emperor has ordered me to return home. I don't want any trouble here.
Love that he has the same voice as Cyan.
Gotta read the recent Thrawn novels. I haven't read any of the Star Wars stuff, like, since the entire wiping of canon. Like, one thing I do like about Thrawn in the original timeline, Thrawn never actually loses. When he's killed, it's not because he made a tactical error or people outplayed him or anything, or there was something he didn't account for. He lost because of information he didn't have and couldn't possibly have had. which is like the best way to deal with a character like Thrawn. Yeah, but I have no interest in getting to know the new canon. Because it's like, I knew a lot of the old canon, I don't want to learn a lot of new canon. I don't have that time, I don't have that interest anymore. It's different when you're not a teenager and you can't just sit down and read books for fucking hours. Is the poison ready? Maybe I should voice Kefka all, like, every line. He's no longer here! I'm in charge now! Pour it! Some of our people are prisoners inside the castle. If we piss in the river... Do it! Take them all out! That's inhuman. Silence! Your history, bub.
Bub.
You can't say bub and not do like the Wolverine bit. Just imagine this bit. It's like, oh no, Kefka, and we throw throwing stars at him, and it's just like when Kenny threw the throwing star at Butters.
Protect my balls.
Go fighting. That's fighting rough.
Oh my god, it's so good. It's so good.
It really is.
Hey, let's go, Kigatsu!
That's fighting rough.
Oh man.
Wait, he says. Do I look like a waiter?
God, I hate him so much.
It's a funny line. The problem is that they do that like twice more, and it's the exact same line.
Yeah. I just hate that he's such a coward. Ugh. Drives me insane. Like, stay and fight.
The interesting thing here is, though, like, we get into some of Kefka's backstory, and he is a general.
Right.
Like, he is one of the 3 generals of the Empire.
Mm-hmm.
My God, he's broken in half. I can't do it, JR.
Yeah, I knew what you were going for, though.
Can you do a JR?
Nah. You gotta get that belly in. Oh my god!
Oh God!
He's broken in half!
He broken in half!
Yeah.
Dog
You
Dummadome.
gotta get that. And then King, Jerry the King Lawler. Oh my god!
Oh my god!
That screech that he does.
There's, like, one of my favourite Jerry Lawler moments is, like, I think it's, like, the Royal Rumble 96. Or 97, so it's, like, just pre-Attitude Era. It's like, okay, we've got the Royal Rumble happening. And it's like, okay, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And it's like, okay, who's the next entrant? And Jerry Lawler's just there taking off his commentating stuff, and then goes and jumps into the ring, and then immediately gets thrown out again, and then goes back to the commentator's desk.
It's pretty good.
No, Kefka being a coward, I think it works with, like, the establishment of Kefka's growing power throughout the game. The level of difficulty and power he presents in every confrontation. And it's an interesting thing with his sprite, too, like, Kefka didn't get any, like, better drawn sprite, like, specific boss type sprite. It was his overworld sprite. But he will get, like, a proper boss-type sprite later on.
Sure. Yeah, no, it just pisses me off, because, like, you had him. You had him, at, like, against the ropes. So just kill him. Get him.
And they were gonna, but he ran away.
Yeah, don't let him.
but they couldn't
Had the
stop
chance.
him. Like, it's one of the things of Kefka of, like, he's the clown. I think part of the problem with Kefka these days is we approach it knowing Kefka is the main villain. But you go into the game with the image that's fresh, and the main villain is Gestal.
Sure.
The man behind the man, and then, like, as everything builds up, it's Gestal. Who is, like, the major focus, and Kefka is just his dragon.
Yeah.
Until, like, it's revealed he is eventually his Starscream. Except he makes the play and sticks the landing. And, like,
Right.
that's really good. The way he does it is absolutely fantastic. So I think, like, that might be part of the
just have a
problem.
different
Imagine
view.
him just as the general here. Yes, the cowardly general, but the general who has the machinations. Think of him as Starscream for a minute. Because Starscream was a coward.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing that he's already a clown. So like he's a clown now and he's a coward. What?
He's pissed in the war.
Oh, yes. So like I already hate that he's a clown. Why is the man a clown? Like, stop it. Why are you a clown? And then he's gonna come and like talk shit to us and say like, "Oh, you're dead, bub." Like, and then we hit him once and he runs away. Like, no. You don't get to do that. So he just always irritated me.
I think part of that might be a different interpretation of clowns that Japan has. That might be a cultural thing.
Could be.
This always got me, like, just how fast everybody dies in Doma.
Yeah. Oh god, he fell in the water.
He was already dead. This is poison. 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 Gonna go downstairs with his wife and be like, "Girl, I must warn you." Did you get that, Cliff?
No.
You don't get his poison. It wasn't like Cypress
Oh.
Hill.
Say what?
I think it's like Cypress Hill.
Cypress Hill?
Yes, never mind.
I'm sorry, I'm unfamiliar.
See, I don't know the song particularly. I just know it from Scrubs.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Which I only watched a little bit of.
I think Scrubs is worth watching at least the 8 seasons of. It's a really good dramedy.
Yes.
It's like, oh yeah, no,
some of
comedy
those
in a
episodes
hospital,
were really
but like it's always got its hand on like more serious notes.
Yeah.
And it's like one of the only sitcoms like you're probably gonna cry at least once a season at.
Yeah, there were some real sad moments in that show when I was watching it.
Like Brendan Fraser.
Brendan Fraser was on the show?
Brendan Fraser had a guest role. Scrubs was kind of interesting in that regard because it got a bunch of movie actors in as guest stars. Like movie actors that didn't really do that. Like there's a Colin Farrell episode. And like, how many of the shows have you heard Colin Farrell ever appear in?
Fair point.
Heather Graham had a recurring role for a few episodes.
Oh, yeah. I remember seeing her on the show.
Still like one of the hottest women.
Yeah. Oh, she's gorgeous. We had a trivia question a couple weeks ago saying, what actress played Roller Girl, Felicity Shagwell, and some other character. And like I knew it at Roller Girl because from Boogie Nights. And my friend, he's like, "Oh, I had no idea Heather Graham was in Boogie Nights." I said, "Oh, she was in Boogie Nights, all right." Yeah. I've only seen that movie once. It was ridiculous.
We should probably talk about this. But
This right now?
I want to
Yeah.
bring up, like, you want to talk like absolutely stunning women in movies, and like there's not a whole lot of women who will maybe be like, wow, absolutely stunning. Especially these days, because like we've had people like Heather Graham, Monica Bellucci, Elizabeth Hurley, like for a long time. The most recent woman to make me be like, wow, Ana de Armas.
I don't know who that is.
Have you seen Knives Out?
Knives Out?
It's a mystery film.
Oh no, I know it exists.
Yeah. Have you seen the last Bond movie?
No.
She has a role in that lasts like 10 minutes, and she is absolutely the best part of it. She is funny, charismatic, and absolutely pulls off the action.
Sure. Okay. Yeah, I dig.
Oh no, my small child. Owain.
Oh yeah, you just killed my whole family. Yeah. Sorry, Teak.
It's like Elaine and Owain. Like, maybe you deserve to have your family die.
Oh my god. Jesus. There's a treasure chest.
That's frustrating. Like, yeah, there's a treasure chest there. No. Yeah, Ana de Armas, like, absolutely stunning.
Yeah. Based on the couple of pictures I saw, yeah, she's gorgeous.
And she's actually a really good actress, which helps. Because, like, I feel like one of the problems you get, and it's not, I can't even say, like, it's just these days, because it's always been the case, like, the absolutely stunning actresses who cannot act.
Yeah.
Who are there because they look good.
Right.
But yeah, so Kafka's just poisoned the river, killing everybody in Doma Castle except for Cyan. And, like, this is the line cross moment for Kafka.
Yeah.
And it comes very early. Like, it establishes very quickly it's like no sympathy for Kafka.
Right.
Which is interesting because you don't get that with a lot of other Final Fantasy villains so quickly.
True. Yeah.
It's like, you don't really get that with Idea. With Sephiroth, you don't see his line cross moment until the flashback in Nibelheim. In story, it's already happened, but in game, you don't see it until like the 8th hour, maybe. Kuja, you could argue the massacre at Clara, but at that point, you don't really know, and you're still attributing that to Queen Bran. So his line cross moment is arguably the life tree, the Ifa tree. When he steals Bahamut.
Yes. I had to go through the cycle of events. I'm like fighting the giant tree on the top of the harp.
Thank you, kind sir. I'm Ghost from Figaro. Let's scram. What of my home, my family, my friends? They're dead.
They're dead. Dear God.
Like you should do the Red Dwarf thing. It's like, what about my home? They're all dead, Cyan. What about my family? They're all dead, Cyan. My friends, they're all dead, Cyan. Does destroy an entire planet by himself? Yes. But by that point, you already don't have the sympathy for Kuja. It's like when Kefka destroys the world, it's past the point where you have no empathy for him.
Yeah. But then it's just sort of like, alright. You know, I guess there's a lot that's not shown. Like, you know, people say like, well, Kefka destroyed the world, but like, there's still places on the world that still exist. You know, like all he did was shoot a couple of lasers.
He just shot a couple of lasers and wiped out one town.
Yeah.
You gotta love that Shadow runs off though and comes back with another Magitech armor. Let's book it.
there he is.
Bust through.
Yeah, I think that's another point that I have against Final Fantasy VI is because, you know, the first thing people will say is the characters. Okay, I already don't like 60% of the characters in this game. Like, we're getting towards the tail end of characters I like, you know? Terra, Celis, Locke. Locke is barely there. Sabin's alright, Cyan is great, Shadow is great.
You don't like Mog?
Except for the What?
You don't like Mog?
Mog is alright. I'm indifferent towards Mog because he doesn't really have a character. He exists. But then the next thing people say is, okay, number one thing about Final Fantasy VI, characters, okay? Number two thing, Kafka's the greatest villain that they ever made. And I like to tear into Kafka for those reasons. Like, well, what makes him great? Well, he's just so evil. Like, okay, but that's... It's sort of like if you've ever watched Doug, and Skeeter comes up with the silver Skeeter, and he just keeps getting superpower after superpower after superpower to make him better and better and better. That's how I feel about Kefka. In that, like, okay, he's just pure evil. Well, that's not exciting, because then it's just like, well, let's get rid of him. You know, there's no like, trying to beat him. Like, he's just powerful because he's a madman infused with magic. Okay, got it. Be stronger than him. That's you.
See, I think,
and he's just doing stuff without a plan. Like, he even says it before, like, oh, now that Leo is gone, I can just poison the river. And then Leo comes out of the tent. He's like, I'm leaving now. Like, well, Kefka just said you were gone. So
yeah,
he wasn't even right. And I know it's a translation thing. I get that, but still.
I always took Leo leaving. I always assumed that it wasn't that the Emperor called him away. It's that Kefka set it up.
Okay. I mean, that's putting a lot of faith in Kefka's thoughtfulness. I don't think he's that thoughtful.
I think he is. Like, he does a lot of stuff in that regard. I think, like you say, Kefka doesn't have a plan. I disagree with that. I think Kefka does have a plan, and he builds up to stuff. I think part of the problem is we don't see steps between the plans. There's some stuff that should be explained that isn't.
Right.
Particularly when he just has the ability to turn espers into magicite. When that happens. Like, he's just able to do that. I think it's probably both, Teak.
Right. I think what people say their appeal to Kefka, though, is that he is crazy and he doesn't have a plan. So I feel like if he's given a plan and he's given that manipulative measures, or, when he's given that manipulative personality, that would make me like him more, but the people who already like him wouldn't like him as much. You know what I'm saying?
I think it's a similar problem to, like, Dark Souls. When people say, oh, why is Dark Souls good? Because it's difficult. And it's like, no.
Right.
That's not why Dark Souls is good. You're missing the point of Dark Souls entirely. That dog can fly.
He missed, though. That was really funny.
But I think a large part of the appeal of Kefka is watching him go and building up through the stages of the game. Like how he changes, evolves, grows throughout the game, becomes more powerful. It's clear his goal is ultimately to have power at the end. Although it doesn't become apparent whether or not he's... That dog can fly. It doesn't become apparent whether or not his goal is power in the name of Gestalt or just for himself until the minute he betrays Gestalt. And so it might be a case of maybe he doesn't have a plan. Maybe his plan is Gestalt's plan. Because like I've always assumed Kefka set up a fake message from Gestalt to get Leo out there so he can poison Doma Castle unopposed. It's entirely possible that at some point it's been like, yo, Emperor Gestalt, Leo won't let me poison these people. And then Gestalt's like, shit, bro, I'll handle it for you. And then he's like, Leo, we need you back at Vector. I was trying to think like what the city's called. Vector.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, it might be that Kafka doesn't have a plan and that he is an opportunist looking for any way to take power, but that Gestalt is heavily enabling him.
Yeah.
I think the game leaves enough wiggle room to go with either one. Which might work better in that sense of, like, you could interpret Kafka in several different ways, whichever way appeals to you more.
Right. I get it. I mean, I'm gonna stick with mine. Just because if I'm going to fill in the gaps, well, I'm gonna fill in the gaps with what I'm given, not with what I imagine it to be. So, like, you go a direction and say, well, he's manipulating Leo through Gestalt, or manipulating them both, and that to me puts too much intelligence in Kefka, and I don't think he's intelligent. I think he's just crazy enough to fly under the radar, because people just kind of brush him off as being, like, you know, some lunatic general guy. And then he flies under the radar long enough to then move a statue and then become a god.
It's an interesting thought, and you might have something there with the underestimation, but I would argue that it's probably more... underestimated, certainly. He's underestimated by Gestalt, definitely, like, straight at the end. Leo probably does underestimate him. You may have a point there, like, he's working with that, but both of our thoughts can mesh together there, of people underestimating him while he's making his plans.
Sure, you're right. Yeah, I'm not saying that you're not correct, because I could definitely see that. I could definitely see a behind the scenes plotting. I just want to see it. Like, I don't want that to be behind the scenes. I want to see that. That's what I get from other villains in other games. Like, I get to see them thinking and working and planning, and I like that. They don't have to have a redeeming quality. You know, like some of these villains, they have, like, you know, you can relate to them, you can understand them. I'm not begging for that. I prefer that, but I also don't need it. I just want more substance to what Kefka is. I don't want to have to fill in gaps. You know?
I think there's definitely a point to be made there. Like, Kefka is irredeemable. There's no redeeming him.
Right.
Golbez is redeemed. But, like, Golbez is probably, like, the first antagonist who is redeemable in some sense. Because, like, Garland isn't, the Emperor isn't. The Emperor is straight evil. There's no depth to that. Cloud of Darkness is just a force of nature. Zemus is irredeemable, but Zemus also barely exists. X-Death is irredeemable, but X-Death is more a plot device in a game that is deliberately light on story. Yeah. Sephiroth does a lot off screen. I think maybe a difference of that is that we get explanations for a bit of it. But, like, there's a lot with Sephiroth that goes on off screen, like the reunion stuff in particular. A lot of stuff we have to extrapolate and determine ourselves.
Right.
The case is still very much the same with Ultimecia.
Right.
We take a lot of what we're told as facts, but ultimately a lot of what we're told with Ultimecia's plan is assumptions other people make.
Right.
And then that's just not disproved when we have that one interaction with Ultimecia. Kuja. Kuja's an interesting case. Kuja is the dragon. TV Tropes refers to it as like the dragon ascendant. Of like the dragon who either stabs the main villain in the back, or the main villain dies early and the dragon ascends to become the main villain themselves. But in a similar way, Kuja is unhinged. In a similar way as Kefka is.
Sure.
All that has to do entirely with an inferiority complex. It's given more of a focus on exactly why he's unhinged, which Kefka doesn't have. the time travel and Renoa thing is interesting, but let's stick with the focus we're having at the minute, because fan theories of 8 will take us in a completely different direction that we'll never stop with.
Yeah, once you get into time travel, like all bets are off.
The one thing I will say is developers said that Ultimate Seer is not Renoa in the future, and I think that's a big missed opportunity. Am I blurry? I feel like I'm blurry.
Perhaps a touch.
There we go.
I've never heard that theory though.
But yeah, I think like in comparison, Kuja is probably the best comparison. People are always like Sephiroth. Kefka is better than Sephiroth. But Kefka is a different breed to Sephiroth. They're both destructive and nihilists to a certain point, but Kefka is after destruction for the sake of destruction, which in itself is its own can of worms that we'll get to when we get further down the road.
Right.
Sephiroth is ultimately about destruction for the sake of his own ascension.
Mm-hmm.
Kefka's ascension, in a lot of ways, feels incidental.
Right.
It's like, oh, this is a means
like
to an end of me destroying the world.
Right. He's just kind of like, I want chaos.
Yeah.
I want chaos. I'm going to cause chaos and incidentally become a god through that.
Which, like, that itself is... It can be a boring motivation. Like, oh, what's the motivation? Just want to watch the world burn. Why? Shits and giggles. That can be a boring motivation, but you can also look at it in a different way of, especially in this modern day of everybody having their own complex motivations and plans and reasonings, simplicity isn't a bad thing every now and then.
Fair enough.
But we can also... There is a problem that I will definitely admit Final Fantasy VI has of a lack of explanation of Kefka. It's like, why is Kefka the way he is? And I think at best you get like a one-line thing in Final Fantasy VI in the game that says like he's a Magitech Knight experiment prior to Sellers, and that broke his mind.
Yes.
So you could try and extrapolate your own thoughts on that, like revenge on the world. It's like, oh, this happened to me, and it was awful, and it's proof of like there is no God, so nothing deserves to exist. At that point, you start extrapolating it, and that becomes your own concern.
Yeah.
And what you end up with after that,
sort of thing.
Yeah, what you end up with after that is entirely down to you and your experiences. You can determine something from that different from what I do. It can be a good and a bad thing. A mysterious antagonist that doesn't have everything explained can be a good thing because it leaves room for everything. You could argue that Sephiroth being more explained in Crisis Core was a bad thing. I don't think it was, because Crisis Core doesn't really explain anything of Sephiroth. You just see more of Sephiroth pre-Sanity.
Right.
If we saw Kefka like pre-Insanity, I don't think it would help anything, because Kefka pre-Insanity doesn't matter. In the same way that Sephiroth pre-Insanity doesn't matter much, but he's also not the focus of that story anyway.
Right.
Which itself becomes a problem with Crisis Core of the Nibelheim incident feeling like an afterthought. Which is understandable because it's not Sephiroth's story.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, to an extent. I mean, you know, he learned the truth there, so there's some interesting things there. But no, I think you're right. I also think it was led more into in Final Fantasy VII. Like, Cloud talks about his history with Sephiroth, so like you have that background with him. Whereas with Kefka, I think it's more true with Kefka that his backstory doesn't matter as much. But at the same rate, like, yeah, after, you know, like, Sephiroth was this normal guy, and then he found out he was created in a lab by some mad scientist, and he's, like, pissed off about it. But then he realizes, like, well, here's this whole thing with Genova, so I must be some great sent thing from above, and I should become more powerful to do that.
It becomes very much Messiah complex kind of thing.
Yes. Whereas with Kefka, he just goes crazy because of the nasty shit that happened to him, which is a point made in Final Fantasy 15, which I know you don't care for, but Arden is basically the same thing. He was created to absorb all the negative energy, right? And then he went mad. But he went mad to an extent where he was like Kuja level intelligence, you know? And I liked that about Arden.
You bring up 15
And
and how I'm not fond of it. Part of it is because a lot of this is explained in post-release stuff. It's not that I
which I never paid attention
dislike
to.
a lot of what 15 does. 15 I consider a disappointment because it had good stuff there, and it was clearly an unfinished game that they wanted to finish in post. It's a cash grab, which in itself taints 15 as a product.
Which, totally fair. I never played any of that, so anything that I learned was within the game through files and stuff. So I think my view on that is fairly reasonable. Like, I never watched the movie, I never read any of this stuff. Like, anything I know about that game comes from the game. And just kind of understanding that piece of it. I didn't mean to put words in your mouth. I just know that you.
Well, it's a fair concern that you do bring up. Like, if that's in the game already, it suggests definitely that some of these stories and some of these characters, you need to experience them more than once to understand them. In that regard,
yeah. Which is why I agreed to do this, because I am, like, you know, we've talked about it over the months and maybe even a year or two, in various chats about my views on Final Fantasy VI. I played it once, I didn't care for it. I played it a second time a year or two later. I still didn't love it, and then, you know, people will bring it up and say, like, oh, it's so great, it's so this. I'm like, I don't really care. They'll talk to me about it, and I'll be like, nah, I'm not really a big fan. And so it becomes that question of, oh my god, how do you not like this? And I'll list the reasons why. And that's not good enough, you know. So that's why I wanted to do this. But at the same time, playing through it is such a good experience because I get to see your views on it in real time, and I get to say, yeah, that's a good point, or, well, this is what I thought, and here's your take on it, and it makes sense. It's just a different level of looking into it, and different people read into things differently. So I think I like it. I think it's good.
Yeah, it's very much the entire intention of the critical discussion. We're coming at this from two different angles, but we're both willing to hear the other person out and potentially even change our opinion based on points that the other presents. We're both willing to admit that we're wrong. I think that's like one of the most important parts of this entire idea.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
We can make the joke here about how you are now wrong and you have to admit it. But, like, there's not a funny way to, like, segue into that. So we're not going to do it. It'd be for the sake of comedy rather than you actually admitting you're wrong.
No, I've definitely, you know, I've said some things that I don't even think are true. You know, like, I'll jokingly say, yeah, Final Fantasy VI is a bad game. It's obviously not a bad game. I just don't care for it. Overall. I don't care for it overall. It's not a game that I'm like, yeah, you know, I'm going to play Final Fantasy VI right now. That's it. That's all there is to it. That's all.
Yeah, I think this has been a reasonable discussion at this point, and we'll definitely have to come back to the Kefka point later with more stuff, and particularly like playing through it and discussing as we play through it. Very much the point is that we see these bits, we get to discuss these points and how they relate to our wider view of everything.
Right. And I think this was a key point is when you see, like, first time Kefka being, like, just inexcusably evil. So this is a good stopping point to talk about that.
Well, I've stopped here because I want to discuss the Phantom Train sequence itself.
Gotcha.
But like the Doma Castle sequence, it comes up, and what we've seen with Kefka prior to that, The flashback Terra has of him putting the slave crown on her. And after that, Kefka's appearance at Figaro, where he seems petty. Like, oh, he's a petty small man with some amount of authority.
Right.
And then we get to... How you doing, Spiz?
Hey, Spiz.
We get
That's
to
Terra.
we get to Doma Castle, and it's real. No, Kefka is so much more than that. Kefka doesn't have a small amount of authority. He's not some small ambassador with a big ego. He's a general, on par with Leo, who is clearly a man who is respected. And then he brings out the point of like, oh yeah, no, he's absolutely irredeemable. He murders an entire castle to end a siege.
Right.
Including people who are on his side.
Mm-hmm.
And like when we get back to Kefka, because the next time we see Kefka is going to be during the Nash attack. We'll I don't think there'll be much more to discuss with Kefka at that point, because not a whole lot changes there. But it is like a continuing step. It's an escalation with Kefka. From like the small piece to the big piece. Which is different from a lot of other Final Fantasy villains, both before and after this. We compare Kefka to other characters in this way. And Kefka is escalation. It's small to be like, begin, slave crown on Terra, and then burn Figaro Castle, and then poison Doma Castle, and it's the escalation up until he destroys the world. With other characters, a lot of them start big. Our introduction to Sephiroth is that he's murdered President Shinra and a lot of people in the upper floors of Shinra Tower.
Right.
Our introduction to Kuja is the massacre at Clara.
No, he's introduced in Burmecia.
That's what I mean, Burmecia.
Okay.
I mean
gotcha.
the Rat City. What's Clara?
Yes. Clara is the tree.
Right, so that's later. Yeah, so it's like the other rat people home.
Yes. Yes.
Like the introduction of Kefka
so he
is
murders all the rat people. Yes.
So like that's already a massacre and potential genocide. That like Bran bears the brunt of the blame at that point in the story, but Kuja is hinted to be like the main thing of that.
Yeah, when you come in on a dragon and that badass boss music, like, yeah, you're the villain.
Why are we not discussing Final Fantasy IX?
What's that?
I was like, oh, why are we not discussing Final Fantasy IX? I mean, there's not really much to discuss. We both think it's a really good game.
There's not much to discuss. That's peak. Final Fantasy VII is my favorite, but 9 is arguably the peak of all Final Fantasy games.
See, that's something I'll disagree on. I think 9 has its own problems, but 9 is a high point, undeniably.
Yeah.
What else have we got? Sin. Sin is introduced, wiping out Zanarkand.
I thought you said Sid.
No, not Sid. Sid isn't a villain until, I think, 12. I think Sid in 12 is the first villainous Sid. As we got like Golbez. Yeah. When Golbez first appears, we know he's taking command of the Red Wings, and the first time we hear Golbez is after the attack on Demacian, Edward's home. So that's already there. That's prior to us learning that he isn't just the replacement for Cecil.
He's here to help me.
He's here to help me with this knife. I haven't played 12 yet. I never got far enough to Sid. I just know that Sid in 12 is like a bad guy. Who else is there? Exdeath is introduced as like the big evil force that was sealed away to like protect the world. So Kefka being an escalation which in some respects mirrors the main characters, like how they grow in power. Which itself, like, the mirror of that can be quite interesting. And more, like, rather than just all the characters, particularly it's Terra, as Terra gets to know who she is and reconnects with her Esper heritage, becomes more powerful through that, and starts to disconnect with her humanity. Kafka is disconnected with his humanity in his own way, and he's willfully pushing that aside while Terra's trying to hold on to it and find it.
Yeah.
A mirror image of sorts.
Yes. Sure.
But again, like, a lot of this, and it can be the case with a lot of these Final Fantasies, it's personal extrapolation.
Yeah.
Filling in the gaps. And, like, we've done Shin Megami Tensei Nocturne before, and I've stated when we did it, like, one of the things I really like about it is that while you're off doing your things, the other characters are doing their things, and you meet them at certain intersecting points. And you have to try and understand what's happened to them while you've not seen them. And that entire idea of them not sitting down and saying, oh, this is all I went through, and then you get the flashback or see everything they went through. The idea that what they went through doesn't matter. It doesn't matter to them that you know. And I think a similar thought can be made for this. With Kafka and with just the Empire in general.
Yeah.
And like you could definitely make the statement that Kafka is one note. And I think that's true in the Japanese version, because like I stated last time, I am very much aware that Japanese are not fond of Kafka. Sephiroth is more popular in Japan, and that a lot of the personality we ascribe to Kafka is due to the localization. Which in itself is like a good thing. It makes a boring character more interesting, which it doesn't happen often, but when it does, it can be like a really good thing. I can't think of any other examples where like a good localization saved a character in a different setting than they were originally in. But I know there are other examples.
Sure, probably.
You got anything else to say on this topic, Clim, before we start the Phantom Train?
No, I don't think so.
So, the Phantom Train sequence. This is... It's a filler episode.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
But the payoff for it, I think, is really good.
Yes.
And it becomes a slow burn. Because, like, one thing that I quite like about Cyan, and there are other characters that you can compare it with. Final Fantasy 15, after mid-game thing that makes everybody very sad, that I'm not going to spoil, but you know what I'm talking about.
Sure.
And everybody's just like, oh, how do we go on? And, oh, like, Nox is like, oh, how do I go on? And then Gladius is like, you dick. And at no point is anybody like, Gladius the fuck.
Yeah, like, come on.
But, like, one thing I like going through this game is Cyan's continuing survivor's guilt. And how it doesn't overtake his character, and he doesn't ever at any point just stop because of it. But there are points where you can see it is very clearly weighing on him, and is a big issue for him personally. And he's trying to avoid it by pushing himself further into this conflict.
Right.
And then the end result of that is in the World of Ruin, when you go to Doma Castle with Cyan in your party, and he gets trapped in the nightmare with the demon. Which allows him to finally face that part of himself and forgive himself for not dying there. And the gameplay result of that is that he gains all of his Bushido skills, if you don't already have them.
Ah, okay.
So, like, if we get to that point and we don't have, like, 6, 7, or 8, finishing that, they're unlocked, because his spirit is now lifted.
Okay.
When you actually get to that point is entirely player determined. It can have less of an impact.
Sure.
But like, it's a part of Sion's story that I really like, and it begins at Doma Castle, but it continues here in a really good way.
Can't leave the train now.
Like, the silence there, though, like... FF6 is probably the first Final Fantasy to really do atmosphere well.
I agree. I agree with that.
And like sound design is a very important thing in video games, and something a lot of games don't really understand a lot is that sound design can also be the lack of sound, and that itself can be important. No music, just the chug of the train.
Won't open.
Phantom train, it carries the party to the other side. Considering I don't think they're actually allowed to say death in this, like, you can go through the entire game and not realise that they're not allowed to say death.
Right.
It's one of the best cases of writing like that, as opposed to something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon.
Right.
I also like the difference in character between Cyan and Sabin there. Of like, Cyan's kind of like, he goes to the other side, maybe we should just stay here. And Sabin's like, no. The fuck kind of idea is that?
Sure, bring it with us. Terrifying. I do like the ghost image there, though.
Tell us about the train. There they can take their eternal rest. Be these time schedules, or be these death. This is a good track, though.
Listen to it. Turn up the volume. Yeah, it's a fun one. Very ghostly.
Like a hint of macabre, but not sinister.
Yeah, it's fairly lighthearted.
Those little character moments like that are the kind of thing I enjoy as well. The kind of thing that filler is great for in anime. Just expanding characters.
Yeah.
A bomb.
It's a bomb!
There's a bomb on the train.
There's a bomb in the lasagna!
What?
Wow. It's a Doug reference. And he's, this is the signal for the... something. Looks like Pinwheel. But without the, Pinwheel part.
Yeah, I can see it. So, the upside to having a ghost in your party here is that you have a fourth member. The downside is that is wasted experience.
Oh, yeah, because it's divided. They do that in Final Fantasy IX as well, don't they?
It's possible. I'd have to dig back into 9 to get a feel for it.
Right.
It's like here's a fun fact for you. Final Fantasy IX is my least played of the PS1 games.
Really?
I mean, 7's the most, but I've done 8 more than I've done 9.
Really? I've definitely played 8 the least. Probably of anything. I think I've played 8 less than 6. I actually don't know if I've played 8. No, I've definitely played 8 twice. At least. I don't think I've played it 3 times, though. It's a lot of game to take on, you know?
What, 8?
8, yeah.
It's not as long as you think.
Right.
Like,
I'm
my
sure it's
playthrough
not.
of it on stream, I think, ended up being shorter than 7. But I also...
Really?
Yeah, when I got to disc 3, and it was like, okay, here's all the side stuff we can do, like the Deep Sea Research Center and stuff. The only thing I did was Odin.
Okay. I think I just think about it, and I just think, like, there's so much stuff. But maybe there's less than I remember.
Yeah, I think it's, like, the 4 discs seems intimidating. But a lot of what's on those 4 discs is just FMVs.
True.
Like, you can definitely
remember
feel it
the
with
jail.
9 as well.
True.
Like, you'd think 9 as long as it is because of 4 discs, but it's not. So you're saying about the jail?
I was just remembering the jail sequence feeling long. And so, like, when I think about Final Fantasy VIII, I think about the giant world map that you're, like, walking across half the time. And the jail.
So that's interesting, because
Breaking out of
8, like, especially with the PlayStation trilogy, 8 feels like the map that I walk across the least.
Huh.
Like, there are very few points where you have to walk anywhere. Usually it's that you're on a train. Like, there's walking to the fire cavern, there's walking to Balam, and then it's like, okay, the boat sequence back, walk back to Balam Garden, walk back to Balam, train to Timber, and then you're not on the world map again for a while. It's like train to Galbadia Garden, and then you get off and walk through the forest, and then walk through that to Galbadia Garden. And then walk to another train station to get a train to Delling City. And then from there you've got to walk to the Tomb of the Unknown King, and then walk back. And that's all you're walking for Disc 1. And you can mitigate a bunch of that by getting a car. In Delling City you can just buy a car and drive to the Tomb of the Unknown King.
Huh.
And then Disc 2, I think by the time you get onto the world map is after you've got Balam Garden moving.
Okay. That slow-ass building.
And then once Balam Garden's moving, I don't think you need to walk on the world map until Disc 3.
Huh.
And even then, that's only walking to Esther. And then once you're in Esther,
Right.
you've got to... I think you have to walk to the launch site, but you can get a car again. Which is probably what you
Right.
want to do, because like so much of Esther is just those platforms.
Yeah.
Those pathways.
Yeah. That's another part of the game I think about and I just don't like.
I don't like Esther. It's just a place to get
Yeah.
around in or out of the city.
Yeah, yeah.
But then after that, you've got the Ragnarok, and that's your airship.
Right. Which is like the coolest airship with the coolest name. And looks like a dragon. Love that. It's basically Megatron's dragon form from the end of Beast Wars. No escape.
I mean, if you're going to tell me no escape and then you're going to fight me, then you're kind of making the wrong impression.
That's true, huh? Because if you beat him, then you can just leave.
Yeah.
Beast Wars Megatron was so cool? Yeah, right?
Yeah, Teak was in here the other day saying I should play the Beast Wars game.
Oh, yeah? Beast Wars was cool.
Yeah,
I never played any.
that was like the fighting game. No.
Oh, really?
Well, it's like, no,
Oh.
it turns out there's another. Who's there?
Oh, God.
Hmm.
He's coming. He's coming. He's coming. Here comes Ghosts in control.
Nowhere to run, nowhere to hide. Ready or not, here I come. You
Mom?
can't hide. I'm gonna find you and take you to the other side. Yeah, send you to the other dimension.
Bloody persist.
I believe we're stuck. Time has come. So have they.
And so have I.
It's a lot of ghosts.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Good work. Can't go in that train car.
Oh, the Whispers. They're here. Somebody's making pizza, I can smell it.
Oh, here they come again. Here they come again on their own. We gotta attach the rear cars. Oh, that's not working. Oh, that worked. I sure hope there was nobody on there hoping to go to the other side.
Yeah, right?
And there goes the unsent.
And thus begins the story of Final Fantasy X. It's all Sabine's fault.
Look out! One thing I think is good, like, this isn't a Final Fantasy VI specific thing, like, it's just a thing of, like, the 2D Final Fantasies. Probably 5 and 6 more than 4. Like, how fast the battle system was.
Okay.
And it was more a problem with, like, early CDs. Like, you start Final Fantasy 7, and it's the same with 8, and 9's the burst with it.
Yeah.
Like, start a battle, and it's like transition, and then the black screen, and then the battlefield loads up, and the camera swings round, and then the enemies appear, and then the characters appear, and then, like, just all the transitions and loading that has to go on there makes the battles take a lot longer.
Yes. I don't know if they did it in the original game, but at least on the port, like the next gen port for Final Fantasy IX, you could actually cut that down. The problem is that the battle will load up without all those transitions, but the fade-in still happens. And while the fade-in is happening, enemies can attack you.
Yeah. I remember seeing that when you were streaming it.
What's that?
I remember seeing it when you were streaming it. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think
I
I commented on it,
testing
like,
it out.
seeming like bullshit.
Yeah. You were almost gonna leave without fighting that ghost.
Oh, Ghost is dead.
I realized I was watching the stream and not the Discord, so I'm a little delayed. That's kind of cool. It looks like his cloak is just kind of dropped there.
Yeah, it's kind of empty.
Yeah.
He's become more powerful than we can possibly imagine.
Bummer. Tonic.
Good to see that even this early, tonics are going to be fucking worthless as healing items.
Yeah.
The food is right here. I just used like 17 tonics.
Go fight some things.
That looks like a piece of bread, like breaded chicken, and like a lot of peas.
Yeah. Yep.
I don't actually know, Bane, but Ghost is gone from our party now. So it's possible that Phoenix Down won't do anything.
Like during the battle? It's interesting.
The dining car.
What is it? Snap? What the hell is snapping?
I think of food that snaps, and my primary thought would be like lobster claw.
Sure.
But like, that doesn't look like lobster.
No. Hey! That's exciting.
So, you think you'll ever pick up any of the Pixel remasters?
I may. I've thought about it. I saw some pictures and some people playing Final Fantasy VI. And if the gameplay pieces are streamlined and better, then I might enjoy the game overall a lot better. But I've strongly considered it, yes. Do you have any of them?
No, I've not got any of them yet. I'm not sure which ones I'd get. Like 5, maybe?
Yeah.
I considered FF1, but, like, I like the way FF1 on PSP looks.
Sure.
And the Pixel remaster goes back to, like, the original art style, which has its appeal, but, like, if I want that, I could play the GBA version for a very similar style.
Right.
FF6, like, I'm fine with playing the original Super Nintendo version if I want that experience.
Okay.
I think translating the Mode 7 sequences into, like, actual 3D makes them less appealing.
Okay.
Like, the, there's two examples in particular that I've seen that I'm like, And it's the opening where they're walking towards Nar.
Yeah,
And it
I remember
looks,
you were saying that.
yeah, it looks less appealing as 3D rather than the Mode 7 implementation. Because at that point, it's just like, why are we doing this? Why is it taking so long? At least with this, it's like, oh, that's a cool looking effect.
Right.
And that sequence in the minecart.
That did like no damage.
Yeah, that was
The
really nice.
minecart. I don't remember that.
It's when you're escaping Vector.
Okay.
Oh, here's Siegfried. Or Siegfried. So this is a
Final Fantasy.
very, very minor thing, but we meet a character in the world of Ruin called Siegfried, who says there's an imposter going around using his name.
Okay. Manicurist?
That's a cool sprite.
Yeah, it is. Got him. You son of a bitch.
Look out. Do you think the encounter rate in this game's too high?
Kind of depends on where you are, I feel like. Because there are times in some games when I'm just like, encounter rate is insane. Like in 5, when I was in the magma place, I felt like it was high
magma?
there. It seems high here. I don't think I've noticed it before now.
I think, like, random encounters are always, like, a percentage thing. I think the percentage can be set high, but it's always going to be particular luck and experience of, like, whether or not you end up with a lot of random encounters or not.
Okay.
Because you'll have had it yourself where you'll take a step and then random encounter. And you'll take another step and another random encounter. But then there are times where you can run through entire rooms with no random encounters.
Right.
God damn.
Ah.
God damn.
Oh no. Now that's interesting that you have the ghost back.
It's because we were at the save point.
Yeah. I just thought it would, like, I thought the game... We talked about it last week. I think it keeps your experience, but everything else remains the same. So any items you've gotten, and etc., you have to recollect those things.
The floating constant...
Floating content?
I think the floating constant has a few set encounters. There's a lot of monsters in a box.
Monster in a box. Hey, this gives you a chance to not use your 17 tonics.
It's fair.
And you got all the experience, allegedly.
It's probably something we
If
should
I
look
remember.
into.
I'm gonna look into it now. You keep any gained experience, but nothing else seems to be kept.
That's what it is, definitely.
That's what it seems. I'll double check it.
I cannot wait until I get Fire Dance for Sabin.
Until what?
Until I get Fire Dance for Sabin. There's a blitz that'll hit everything.
Yeah.
There's an interesting point with Sabin, actually, of, a lot of his blitzes go off his magic stat.
Oh, really? Does his magic stat get any good?
It can do if you use specific espers.
I see.
Because, like, the espers will give you a boost to something whenever you level up. And so the proper way to like prepare for anything in this game is to absolutely have the right espers at the right times equipped.
Right. Makes sense.
Which is doable. Like, it's very doable. You can, as long as you keep an eye on the experience bars. Which, like, you gotta do it like this.
Yeah.
And then, oh, we're close to leveling up. Let me put this esper on this character and this esper on this character.
Right. Yeah, that level of micromanagement is something I don't really love. And the fact that you lose a lot of those stats from the beginning of the game, because Final Fantasy VIII did that too, right? You learn certain abilities with the GFs, where like they will increase your stats if you level up with them on, right?
I don't think it worked quite the same. Certain GFs had abilities that increased certain stats by like percentages and stuff, but that was a specific ability that GFs had, and that ability would be transferred to whichever character was currently equipped with them.
Huh. I thought it increased the stat. Well, in any case, I don't like that it's like if you get to level 12 before you get to to have your Magicite ready to equip, well, that's 12 levels you could have gained stats instead. So I don't like missing out on things. I love the idea. I think it's a cool idea. But at the end of the day, it never really matters anyway. Like, I remember people playing Final Fantasy VII for the first time, and they're like, well, I don't want to equip this materia because it reduces my strength by this amount. It's like, it literally almost never matters.
Yeah.
And
the same is true in here. Like, you never need to do any kind of specific stat growth. Even for, like, the GBA version exclusive super bosses.
Oh, okay.
Like, it's unnecessary. There's other ways to deal with them if you want to actually bother with anything like that.
Yeah. What a bag of wind. Now, I forgot to look at this guy being introduced again. Did he introduce himself with a Z?
Yes, Siegfried.
Okay.
But
then his name changes to be with an S.
Like I say, I don't think it's that the name changes. When you meet Siegfried in the World of Ruin, he makes a mention of somebody who's going around impersonating him.
Right.
So I think that's what it is. You meet the imposter, and then way later you meet the actual person. But it also never actually matters because it doesn't go anywhere.
Right. Yeah, does anything with that item happen?
The green cherry?
No, the thing that from the treasure box that he says he steals.
Oh, I have no idea what that even is.
Yeah. I don't like that. Jeez.
Awesome.
Okay, that's good.
So I don't think Shadow can leave you on the Phantom Train because, like, if Shadow can leave, why can't anybody else?
Right.
But I think outside of the Phantom Train, if Shadow dies, there's a possibility that he'll just leave because of that.
Uh-huh.
Imposter implies to be Go-Go because he's a mimic. It's an interesting thought. It's not one I've heard before, but it is an interesting thought.
Yeah.
But Go-Go is generally, like, way stronger than this. That Siegfried is a joke. Go-Go is strong enough that when we meet Go-Go, Go-Go is, like, in the belly of a monster. Because you find Go-Go inside Zonia.
Okay. Yeesh. Whew. Raid. Oh my god.
It could just be a case of a reused sprite then. But it's an interesting thought, one that could bear some looking into. As far as Go-Go itself goes, I think the prevailing thought with Go-Go is that it is Daryl.
I feel like I came across that same thought. Is it something in-game that you can determine, right?
Yeah, there's something that suggests it.
Right. And I like that. I also thought Go-Go was a blob monster. Because, like, if you look at the artwork in the menu, I thought it was like a blob monster with a silly grin.
Yeah.
And like 2 antenna eyes. But that's not the case.
It's like a bundle of robes.
Yeah. But if you look at the art, it looks like something with weird eyes and a silly grin. Sort of the same way Gestalt looks like a dog person.
That's the hat.
Look up a picture of Go-Go right now.
So it's an interesting thing with the Whispers, and I think like any ghost-type enemy, their health is always draining.
With the what now?
With any ghost-type enemy, the health is always draining.
Oh, really? That's interesting.
Alright, so let's see if we can figure this out.
Doesn't somebody tell you how to do this?
Possibly.
Oh.
Operate the switch outside and the smokestack. Now here we go.
GG.
So you've been slowing my progress. All motherfuckers about to die. Run!
Oh god.
Can't run away, can't run away.
Evil Toot. He's tooting at us.
Oh,
Oh,
the two.
God.
Oh no.
Oh.
Yeah, like,
why
how
did
did I
the
get
bird
onto this
change
menu
all
and
the
why
time?
can't I get out of it?
You can't press down to get out of it?
Weird.
Hmm.
Good thing we got a green cherry.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise we wouldn't be able to do like what we're after doing.
That's a fair point.
I don't know what that menu was, and I don't know why I couldn't get out of it.
Yeah, in Final Fantasy V, you just press up to get to it, and then you press down to get out of it. Like from the item menu. Oh god. Oh god, he shot a wheel at you. Acid Rain, that's a fitting attack, actually. Ooh. Got him. There was the meme, yeah.
No ticket. Yeah, I didn't... Like, this... I've been struggling on this playthrough way more than I should have been.
Well, at least Sabin gets a fine amount of experience, huh?
I can't
So
do
you
the voice,
defeated
I'm
the
not a
bitch.
seductive woman.
Say what?
The quote is like, I can't do the voice, I'm not a seductive woman. It's like, I don't know what voice that's referring to. It says Silent Hill 3, but it's like, there is no seductive woman in Silent Hill 3.
Hmm.
Like, there's only 2 female characters.
Right.
That's not a case of like, oh yeah, and the rest of the characters are all male. It's like, yeah, but there's only like 3 male characters. Alright, we shouldn't be here. Let's go now.
Where are you?
I think we're just in the same place.
Ah.
At this
More or
stage, all
less
the
out of
quotes are more or less out of context. I can remember the context of like a lot of the quotes, though.
Hmm.
Teak, is that your wife and child, Teak?
Departing?
Oh, there goes Sabin. Elaine! Owain! Really are, like, why would you name your child something that rhymes with either of the parents?
Right.
It's like, I've said this before, but like, it makes you think, like, Billy D. Williams. So his parents called him William.
Okay.
William Williams.
Right.
Look how much emotion that sprite conveys.
Yeah.
Leave him alone.
Yeah. Time to go, chumps.
Oh, they're still dead.
Yeah. Deuces.
We could have probably camped out in the forest.
At least the tent restores your health fully in this game.
That is one of the dumbest things in FF9.
Yeah. Those are some aggressive grasshoppers. Oh, grasshoppers, my bad. Yeah.
What I'd like to do is just like go into the code and change it so it says Dennis.
Why?
Dennis Hopper.
Ah, of course. I thought you meant just a dentist.
Yeah, let's just change all the enemies to be called Dennis. Dennis Palazzo.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh man.
If we remember it, like, maybe we'll call, fucking Umaro Dennis. Well,
Okay.
we made it. With Shadow.
Nice.
The Empire's right on our tails, are they? I have served my purpose. Star,
Okay, bye.
you're here too.
Where are you going? What was your purpose?
What are you fighting for?
Okay. I'll be fighting too. Why are we fighting piranhas on our fall down the falls?
Because they're just dicks. Yeah, like I said, I can remember the context of, like, most of the quotes. Like, you pull up a random quote and chances are I can remember the context of it.
Right. Alright.
Yeah. The context of that is that we were talking about hunters in Code Veronica and the poison ones can go fuck themselves.
Sure, yeah. I admire your ability to remember that.
I mean, the context of that is, like, we were fucking around after the timer had begun in the end of RE3. We should probably stop dawdling because there's a nuclear missile on the way.
Right.
That was probably, like... I feel like that was after we did the "you want stars, I'll give you stars." And, like, I'm just like, yeah, bitch. And we just stood there looking at it for a minute. This one's purple.
Oh no, it's Rizopas. Infamous razorfish.
So I don't do suplex a whole lot, mostly because there are some enemies that it just won't affect.
Yeah. Interesting.
Simple, only in battling. That is the trophy, the Riddler trophy in Arkham Asylum. After you capture Harley, there's a cell that you can open and go into to pick up a trophy. And then the cell closes behind you, and Harley's like, "Ha, you stupid bat fell into my trap." And, like, you escape. She's like, "How'd you do that?" And I say, "It's simple, Harley, I'm Batman."
Mm-hmm.
Reminds me of, there's an episode of the animated series where the Riddler traps Batman and Robin in, like, a safe or something. Like an inescapable safe. And they escape, but it's never explained how. The Riddler never knows, the audience is never shown, it's just, yeah, they escaped. And it's the only time the animated series does something like that. Draped in monster hide, eyes shining with intelligence, a youth surviving against all odds. A youth smoking that dank weed. Like, those eyes look like they're pink.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, they do.
So, who do we call Gao?
It's a good question. Who was raised by wolves?
No, the specific episode I'm thinking of, see, they never explain it. The Velt music is coming up. The drums.
I hate the Velt music.
Here we
Just
go.
a quick aside.
Here we go. We haven't named anybody after Cat yet, have we?
That is correct.
Do you think Cat's eyes shine and, like, sparkle with intelligence?
I think they do, yeah. I think they sparkle with a lot of things. I think intelligence is one of them.
Name him Signer. Does Signer have a lot of intelligence? He's not even here to hear me, like, just take the piss out of him. Ninja's lurking, but, like, were we saving somebody for Ninja? We could have called Shadow Ninja.
Right.
Which would have been dumb.
It would have been a little silly.
So, like, what if we called Umaro Ninja?
Okay.
It's like, oh yeah, what's the name of this big Yeti thing that lumbers around and is really loud and very unstealthy? This is Ninja.
Right, of course.
Suggested Ninja for Gao yesterday. You did. Yeah, why not? So I know Gao is like one of the most polarizing characters for people to use. But I think like the reason Gao gets that when characters like Umaro and Gogo don't is because Gao is actually in the party for a significant chunk of the game.
Yeah. And he's not optional. Umaru is optional, yes?
Yeah, because technically everybody except Setzer and Edgar are optional for the endgame. So anybody you don't have prior to the World of Ruin is optional. Entirely optional. You never have to have Mog in the party, or Go-Go, or I feel like there's another one. Umaro. Like, you never need to have any of them in the party.
Interesting. Yeah, because once you're like recruiting everybody, you don't have to find everybody, yeah?
You don't have to find...
Is that what you mean?
The only person you have to find is Setzer, and you'll find Edgar on the way to Setzer.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Gao is a character that is probably one of the easiest to break if you spend the time with him,
right.
Learning his rages. And, like, getting to know the rages themselves.
Right. Which is something that... I think that's what made me hate him, is like, okay, I've learned this rage, what does it do? Oh, it doesn't do anything useful. Got it. I'm not gonna use him then. I'm not going back to the Veld to, like, just send him off and fight until he comes back. It just seemed, like, too tedious for me.
I think for Gao, it's definitely worth just looking up a guide. Like, okay, what rages are decent and where do I get them? Because, like, you could go through the game, you could get all the rages, and there's, like, 4 that you'll use. And, like, those 4 are great. Like, make no mistake about that, those 4 are absolutely fantastic. Mithril Claw and a Kotetsu.
Excellent.
Buckle Shield. Iron Helmet. So the way I'll do my equipment in FF6, for the most part, I'll buy stuff that will fit the party that I currently have.
Makes sense.
But I'll never sell any of the equipment.
Ah.
That way, it's like, oh yeah, no, I'll go and get more stuff, but I'll have stuff to still equip people with.
Right.
I could have gotten equipment for everybody that would fit there. But, like, that's a lot of money. I'm probably not going to be able to buy everyone the best equipment they can have now.
Right. Right, and by the time you get to that other party, you're going to be buying more stuff anyway.
Yeah, it's like, will it be the best stuff for them? Who knows?
Right. I think that's smart, yeah.
Yeah. So it's the way I roll with it. Get some of those. Definitely get a few more tents. I send things all over the world. Can you send me? Serpent Trench.
I love how much music in this game, and like past games too, really I think it's noticeable in this game how many melodies are present in future games. Like just those last 3 notes in this town is present in so many things. Like it's present in Eyes on Me or Eyes on You, whatever that song is actually called. Yeah, it's present in Arius' theme. You know, it's like it's present in all these different things. And I know it's only 3 notes, but just in that specific order for that specific like note timage, you know, I think that's really, really cool, and a sign of a composer who's genuinely brilliant.
Well, I said last time, like, I think this is where Uematsu really hit his stride.
Yeah.
And like from here on, I think like all of the Final Fantasy tracks would be at least 85% absolute bangers. It's like 7 has a fantastic soundtrack. The only thing that really holds 7 back in terms of its soundtrack is it's like the first game they really did with the PS1 that way. And by the time they got to 8, like the quality of the music had just jumped up, the quality of the instrumentations and shit. And then 9 is unbelievable.
Yeah. 9 does what 6 does with the mood. It sets the mood perfectly. Whereas 7 doesn't always do that. It does frequently, but it doesn't always. There's certain moments where I'm just like, okay, I guess this fits here, you know? Not a lot of moments where I'm like that, but there's more than there are in like 9. 9 really tells the story with the music, I think.
Wayne and Catherine are both 16 and in love.
Okay.
The World of Ruin takes place after a year. At which point, Catherine is heavily pregnant.
Heavily.
She gives birth at the end of the game.
Okay.
So, like, Square over here promoting underage sex. I mean,
hey, you know, times were different.
Like, what is it? Like, the age of consent in Japan is like 14 or something?
Is it? I don't know.
I've heard that. I've never confirmed it.
I try to pretend that the age of consent is the same around the world because it makes me feel better.
The age of consent here is 16, but like it's heavily frowned upon for anybody over the age of 18 to have sex with somebody under the age of 18.
Okay.
I think is the case.
Yeah.
Personal preference for myself is like nothing under 25.
Sure. Yeah. I think that's reasonable. It's just a maturity level.
Pretty much. I wonder if Gwen and Catherine are given different ages in the Japanese version, or if their age is even really stated. Or like it could be like, oh yeah, they're young and in love.
Yeah. Here's some dried meat.
There was I was playing Dead or Alive 2 yesterday, and I noticed that Kasumi's age is rated as NA.
Okay.
That's weird. Is anybody else's? Because like the character select for DOA 2 gives you a bunch of completely needless information for the characters, like age, blood type, the specific fighting style they use. None of it matters. Every character in the game has their age stated except for Kasumi and Ayane. And I think Kasumi's supposed to be 16. Ayane, I'm pretty sure, is supposed to be 14. But yeah, you look at Ayane and think, yeah, no, if they were saying that's 14, especially if they said that outside Japan, like, that's not good.
Yeah. Yeah.
Especially
And I mean,
when I was doing the fight with Ayane, and so many of the hits generated panty shots.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, Ninja likes dancing.
Excellent. Shut up.
Got it. Simmer down, sirs. Tiki, you angry with Ninja?
What manner of rubbish.
That's interesting, because like that suggests that Sabin has had some kind of contact with the Returners, or at least Locke.
Mhm.
But if he had, then why wasn't Edgar aware of it?
Right.
Because
Right.
Edgar suggests that he hasn't seen Sabin since he ran away from the castle.
Right. That was actually just 2 days earlier.
Ran away, he started training under Duncan, and in 2 days he was like, already the master.
Yes. Murdered by his son.
See, this is an interesting thing of like showing where you need to go.
How do you mean?
It's like Gao telling us where we need to go now. It's like where Sabin is stood represents Mobilis, where Cyan is stood represents the river where we washed up, where Gao is stood
okay.
represents where we need to go.
That is interesting.
Hmm. So I think what we'll do is we'll wrap up this section.
Okay.
We'll wrap up Sabin's whole part and we'll call it.
Sounds like a plan.
Yeah, because we've hit 3 hours now.
Hmm. Yeah, I think that's a great idea. Hey, it's an imp. What are you doing here?
Here's how to build ninja skills. Take him out of the party and never put him back in.
Yep. The Clim method.
It is ultimately like a really inconvenient way of learning skills, though. And it's
Yeah.
interesting to see this kind of thing in the game that probably has like the most convenient method of learning blue magic. Because like for Strago to learn a blue magic spell, he just has to see it. He doesn't have to be hit by it.
Right.
So if he's in the party and an enemy uses something he can learn, he'll learn it.
It's almost as good as, well, it's better than Kimari's. Well, almost as good as. It's different. Kimari's I like a lot. You just have to use Lancet on stuff.
Eastis is probably like the most hands-off.
You know, I never used Quistis. So I have no idea how it even works.
For Keystis, her blue magic is limit breaks. You'll learn them through items. Like, every now and then you'll get an item
That's right.
that. I know Eaton's so
That's
weaker.
right. Yo.
Yeah, Keen.
Ugh.
No, fucking Keenan now.
I hate that so much. And then the trance
I hate
just
trance.
makes it. What?
I hate trance.
Yeah, trance is bad.
I like it as a
and-
story thing.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's Super Saiyan.
Well, I say that. It's more, I like that it has a story presence.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, it's a neat idea. It just is terrible. In execution.
I'm Ninja. I'm your friend. That's just what an enemy would say.
Then you ended up actually killing the monster. Right.
So, Ninja now has the Magitech armor. Rage.
Excellent. I don't know what that does. Tech laser.
So, Yao he's a berserker. And it's an interesting consideration of class. It's Berserker cross Beastmaster.
Yeah. Hey, Demon, what's going on?
Yeah, how you doing, Queen?
Yeah, I always call you Queen. I don't know why I called you that. But hello.
And like, let's be fair. Did you ever use Beastmaster or Berserker in FF5? Except for that time when I told you to.
Yeah, I don't think I ever used Beastmaster.
If that Berserker strategy had worked, though, it would have been absolutely fantastic.
That would have been
It
good.
would have been
Yeah,
great.
that would have been
It's like, oh no, I can't beat these. What if you just stopped trying?
good. Yeah. Nah, I ended up just leveling up twice and being done with it.
Like, one of the downsides of FF5 is the grinding necessary, but one of the big beauties of FF5 is just the variety you can work with. Because like, I'll eventually do FF5, and chances are I'll do it completely differently to how you did.
Yeah.
I told you, like, my opening strategy is always, like, everybody gets Monk.
Yeah.
So everybody can learn barehanded.
Mm-hmm. Which was never a strategy of mine. I always just put one person on Monk because I don't know. It's just something I did for kick. I liked the kick.
See, I do it
It's a free way for everybody.
I do it so everybody can learn barehanded, and then mages have an attack ability. Like, don't give them a rod or anything. Mages can then attack and do decent damage without having to use MP. Because you give them a rod or you give them a knife, and they're doing garbage damage.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it makes sense. It was a smart move, and I'm glad I adapted that from you saying it. But yeah, I usually do the standard gambit. You know, like I have a white mage, I have a black mage, I have a thief, and I have the monk. That's usually how I run it. I spent a lot more time with the hunter this go around, just because. Magic Knight is my favorite. It's always been my favorite, to the point where when Magic Sword was a thing in Final Fantasy IX, I was like thrilled by it. 5. 5 I liked a lot.
I think I probably want to do FF1 before I do FF5.
Hmm.
I need to decide like who my party is going to be. My standard thing is fighter, monk, black mage, white mage.
2 black mage, white mage is what you said?
Yep.
That makes sense, yeah.
How the fuck is Gao?
It's tough in the beginning.
I think like the wall of FF1 to get past his Lich. If you can get past Lich, the game starts getting a lot more open for it.
Mm-hmm. I'll have to replay that for myself. Not the NES version, though. I've done that. I've done it twice. I don't want to do it again.
I would not recommend doing the OG.
Right. It's just very monotonous.
We've done enough, like letting Gao do anything. Because he was gone for a while there, and I didn't want him to be. Gao, stop dragging your ass.
Gao. What?
We said the same thing.
Oh, good.
Stop dragging your ass.
That's great. Indeed.
Alright, let's go.
Alright, not that way, I guess.
What's wrong? It's interesting that he shouts Gao. Like, specifically Gao rather than whatever you've named him.
Oh, yeah.
Let me handle this, and then he doesn't.
Yeah, right.
That dive helmet?
Sure looks like it.
Yep. Alright, here we go, through the Serpent Trench. Unless we go in, we won't see our friends again. And Cyan and Gao are like, who?
Right. Meanwhile, how are we going to share that dive helmet? Because there was only one.
What we're going to do is we're going to merge party into one person, so only one person has to wear it.
Got it. They both jump down individually.
They'll merge into water. They'll be fine.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Did you ever hear about, like, the cut joke they had for FF7 of the Turks trying to do that?
Oh, really?
Yeah. Apparently at one point
That's
the
funny.
Turks were supposed to try and walk into each other. The same way the party does, and like, just get all tangled up.
That's pretty good.
So yeah, now that we're away from the Veld, it'd be worth mentioning, everybody that you see on the Veld is an enemy that you've fought previously.
Right. Yeah, I remember you said that last time.
It's like
I didn't know that.
some of those monsters didn't make sense to be there, like the commanders. Or the Magitech
Right.
armor.
Right.
I think if Gao could learn rages anywhere, just anywhere, it didn't have to specifically be the Veld, it would be less irritating.
Yes. I agree. Hey, a jellyfish.
Kill it. Let's do
Wow, you
Grasshopper.
learned a lot of rages, though.
He comes with a few. So the Grasshopper's given him float.
Interesting.
That's probably worth making a note of.
Okay.
I mean, for me, for gameplay reasons, but I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I don't take notes.
Well, I mean, float is usually used against Earthquake and only Earthquake, right?
Yeah, but there are plenty of enemies that have Earthquake later on.
Yeah.
But by that point, we might have Golem. Or, like,
Okay.
there is an Esper that will cast, like, all float, or will just have float as a spell.
Mm-hmm.
Because only one party member has float cast on the magic.
Right. Now, he is always floating, though?
You know, he might actually... It might not be a Rage. He might have a relic on him.
Yeah.
I think Final Fantasy VI probably goes over... Oh, fucking hell.
Wow.
Probably goes overboard with the Mode 7 sequences.
Hmm.
If that thing had hit Teak, I would have been very unhappy.
Yeah.
It's one of the things that I absolutely hate dealing with in RPGs. Oh, you just revived somebody? Bam.
Right. Yeah, because it's not like... And my biggest pet peeve is in a game like Final Fantasy IX, I'm pretty sure they do it. Like, you can't cast Cure on somebody who's dead, right? So, like, you can't input a Phoenix Down, and then on the next character, before the Phoenix Down is used, you can't cast Cure on that person. But when that person is revived, an enemy attacks, and they could have already targeted your new character?
Yeah.
Like, nah. It's not okay.
So, with this, we get to... what's it called? Nikia. And then it's just the boat ride to South Figaro, I think. Or it's the boat ride to somewhere, and then that's... Narshe. Then we're at Narshe.
Nice.
Or is it? Looking at the map, we might actually be on the same continent.
Yeah, I don't remember.
Oh, no, South Figaro.
Hop aboard.
I didn't mean to do that. Ah, she's just a stone's throw away. I don't think we have to actually travel to Narshe from South Figaro, though.
Oh, really?
It'd be redundant, because we do that with Locke. There you go. A decisive battle is about to take place.
Battle.
Huh? Yeah, he's naming the music, see? Yeah. God, it's gonna be fucking ages till we get another save point now. I understand all of it, except how can we be encouraging bloodshed? Listen. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good men to do nothing.
It's true.
He's right, you know. He has a wife, you know.
Why are all these mummies here?
It's just the way people in Narshe dress. that you'll find something visible about the name. Because...
I've never seen that movie, but I know that scene.
It's worth watching. Like, The Life of Brian is so much more than that.
Yeah.
But, like, it's fantastic. There's specific bits of it that just elevate it. Like, one of the best parts of it is when he just turns... He's trying to get the guards to laugh at this point. Because he knows they're laughing, and he wants to send them off to be executed for laughing. He wants them to just burst out laughing. And, like, he goes up to him, he's like, do you find something visible? And then he turns to another one, he's like, he has a wife, you know. And it's like, that bit's always like, fucking Christ. The mythical battle that set mankind back 1,000 years. People will never learn. Those who ignore history are condemned to repeat it.
Yep.
Oh, hello.
Hey, guys.
How did you get here before Locke? I'm Teak, retainer to the Lord of Dome. You mean former retainer.
Ooh.
Ninja Gao. People of Doma were wiped out by the Empire. Kafka pissed in the lake. Barbaric.
Kefka pissed on everyone.
How would you like that, Obama? I'm pissing on the moon! Somebody redeemed that as like a reader line at some point, I'm sure of it.
Oh yeah?
Yeah. It's the Snapcube fan dub of Sonic Adventure 2.
Okay.
Like, if you've never seen it, it's fantastic.
Yeah.
Like, it got big enough that people had asked the actual voice actor for Eggman at conventions to do some of the lines. Enough that Mike Pollock, the voice actor for Eggman, put out a whole thing of, like, he's not going to do any of the lines from it. Potentially because a lot of them are not very suitable.
Yeah.
And bearing in mind that Sonic is a game for people rated like 7 and up.
Yes.
Somebody asked him once to do the snooping as usual line from, I think, Sat AM or Adventures of Sonic the Hedgehog, which is where the old Pingus meme comes from. You ever heard that one?
No.
Eggman saying Pingus?
Nope.
Like, it sounds close to penis.
Okay.
And it comes from a YouTube poop somebody had cut from the line of Dr. Robotnik saying, snooping as usual. Snooping around. Snooping? No, snooping as usual, eh, Sonic? And so, like, somebody asked Mike Pollock to do the line, and then they cut that into Pingus. And apparently Mike Pollock almost lost his job for that.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So he either refuses to say the line anymore, or will pronounce, or, like, voice it very differently so you can't do Pingus out of it.
Right.
Chrono here was one of the Emperor's generals. I keep saying Emperor when Empire comes up. I knew she seemed familiar. Sir Ninja, out of the way. Wouldn't come at me, Teak. She torched Miranda. She's an Imperial spy. Now stand aside. Fucking come at me, Teak. Promised I protect her. I will not back out on my word. Bane, you still thinking about your dead girlfriend?
Yeah.
I was also an Imperial soldier. What? What? The Empire's evil, but not all of its citizens are. Some of them have very nice feet.
Yeah, you're right. And Sabine just flexes. Listen, everybody.
Emergency! The Empire cometh.
Oh, good. What?
Oh no. I don't care what you do here, just get me that Esper. It's a good thing they only sent like 10 guys. Lord Kafka, there are civilians here. I mean, I think it's technically correct, but it's a weird thing to see.
Right, and it's also completely unnecessary. It saves a space.
That space might be important, though. Like, not even joking with how, like, character limits in this game were.
Yeah.
But nah, she's neutral. Idiot! It's like, yeah, why would they care if they're neutral?
Right.
Like, you only get to hold neutrality in a situation like that if you have something both sides need to ensure that neither side will go against you.
Right.
And like, oh, what does Nash have that the Empire needs? The Esper.
Right.
But they don't need any of the people for the Esper.
Right.
I suppose if any overpowers us, much. Kefka's gonna have a different voice every time I do this.
Yep.
That's me. Let's get ready to war. Somebody want to do power? Power? You remember how to spell it, Clim?
No.
P-O-W-A-H. Power!
Row, fight the power!
Power?
Nice.
Bane has a complicated past. I wouldn't go thinking he's falling for you. I'm a soldier. That's some Luftstar twit. Cold as ice. Like, not really. So you were born with the power of magic. Isn't it a lovely gift, Clim?
Yeah, it's great.
When I was a baby, I was artificially infused with magic and raised as a Magitech Knight.
Girl chat, huh?
Do you think love can ever bloom on the battlefield? What's that supposed to mean? You know, at some point with, like, the reading of the MGS scripts and all the MGS quotes we'll throw around, maybe we should do a co-op stream on MGS at some point and, like, really riff on it.
Maybe.
That's way down the line, and we already have, like, another game lined up for us to do.
Right.
I don't think for a moment I trust you. Fine, use your own eyes and decide. It's like, oh, you know what's a good way to, immediately lose a potential ally? Be very antagonistic towards them.
Right.
So here's a question for you. Is this the same, like, windy mountain noise that appears in FF7?
It certainly sounds like it. Like an updated, will you know, from this. Like, it sounds like it just cleaned up.
But that is going to do it for us for today for the critical discussion of Final Fantasy VI. I think we got a good amount of discussion down.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really dug into, like, the main meat of your problem with this game.
Yeah.
Which is Bannon.
Yeah, can't stand him.
You know, Bannon just disappears after World of Ruin.
Yeah, I remember you saying. Kind of forgot he existed to begin with.
It's one of those things, like, you get to World of Ruin and you question, like, oh, who actually died? Did anything happen? Did anybody we actually know die? Or is it just, oh yeah, this was a terrible tragedy and many people died, none of whom you have ever met?
Right.
Well, it's like Bannon dies. I think there's a few other named characters. Oh, we don't know that Bannon dies, but like Bannon and there's a few other named characters that never show up in the world of Ruin. I should probably turn off the no spoilers tag.
Shit.
Because like we're just outright spoiling it.
I didn't realize that was up there.
Psychomantis.
Next week, what comes after this? The Defense in March, Terra's Flight. That's then like a good chunk of the game dealing with that, which we probably won't finish next week. Because that requires us to like find Terra. Which requires us to go back to Figaro Castle.
Okay.
Submerge, go to Collagen, go to Zozo. Dealing with Zozo is a whole thing.
Yeah.
And then the infiltration of Vector. So dealing with Terra's Flight, like the aftermath of this, is probably not going to be over next stream.
Okay.
I don't know. I think currently I've got set up like 8 thumbnails for this. For the YouTube upload. Like 8 seems like a reasonable number, but it could go further.
Good.
Now let me just do this for Ninja because it didn't play because of the cooldown that I thought I turned off, but it didn't work.
Snake, are you okay? Snake? Snake!
I do actually have a separate one for that as well, if you just put death. In fact, you think it'd be worth like going through all of these so you guys can know what they all are, or do you think it's worth you guys discovering them?
Either or. I think it's fun to discover them.
Let's see. Chant. Some of these are like 20 seconds long. It's one of the longest, actually.
Oh, yeah. Hard to cut that off.
It is.
Yeah, that was good.
Oh, actually, Not Human is really good. You'll like this one.
Okay.
That didn't play. Is that the proper thing? Let me check the sound files.
Should be.
Not Human. Yeah. Yeah, so if I copy that straight out of it. Yeah, I wonder why it's not playing. We'll check something real quick. That's also not playing. This might actually have created a problem here. Let me check this real quick. It's in OneDrive, isn't it? Is it? No, it's in fucking... Try to remember where this whole thing is stored. App data. Yeah, for some reason that's listed as being 2 minutes 43 seconds. Which is weird because I definitely cut it shorter than that. So that's the reason that hadn't been playing. So, the chant plays for 2 minutes 43 seconds, but it's only like 20 seconds of actual sound.
Right.
So
Interesting.
presumably that's done now. So no, it's not done yet. I guess you guys will have to see them. Do any of these also have that problem? 1 second, 2 second, 4, 4, 3, 2, 2 minutes 43, 1, 2 minutes 43, 5. That suggests a specific problem. I've probably not erased something further down on the
It's a weapon.
There we go. I've probably not erased something further down on the edit, and it's like the piece that I wanted, and then like way further down, the piece that I've not noticed.
Right. That just played.
I am not a human being! I am an animal! Cold-blooded!
That's a good one.
What is that from?
That's the Penguin in Batman Returns after he has his breakdown.
Okay.
There's like great speech on Oswald. My name is not Oswald. I am the Penguin. I am not a human being. I am an animal. Cold-blooded. Here's the list of Gotham's firstborn sons. I'm gonna lure them down here and drown them.
Mm.
Hey, Penguin, isn't that little... He just pulls out a gun. No, it's a lot. And kicks the fat guy into the water. What is O?
Oh.
Love that Joker. Oh, that's not... That's a different thing. I'm looking at, like, the file name rather than the actual command. That's probably oh shit, actually.
Yeah.
Love that Joker might actually be a good one to do. Love that Joker. So we had monsters, which is of course Rebecca saying, "Look at those monsters." But we also now have monster.
Excellent.
Die, monster! You don't belong in this world!
I tried to like really tone down the penguin bit so it didn't hurt my throat, but it absolutely hurt my throat.
Mm.
Is there anything else that's like of note that'd be fun? Note before we go. Alert, catch, chant, death, fail, game over, humans, hunting, man. Man's good.
What is a man? A miserable little pile of secrets!
I'd love if I could like set up a bunch of sound alerts to play like a random one from like one command. So it's like you type in like man, and it could be what is a man, miserable little pile of secrets, or it could be something else.
Okay.
Because there's a good parody, like this way old now. Kajeto-kun or something like that. This is years old. And it's like, what is a man? A miserable little pile of bullshit. This is your story. It's not a bad one. It's not a bad one. We also have hunting, which again is one of the longer ones. Which, let me double check the length on this. This is going to be another 2-minute 43 one. So I'll have to see about re-editing these and swapping the files out.
Yeah.
But we also have everybody's favorite, which we'll play real quick now that you can hear it.
The self-destruct sequence has been activated. Repeat, the self-destruct sequence has been activated. This sequence may not be aborted. All employees proceed to the emergency car at the bottom platform.
I found like a clean rip of that with nothing over the back.
That's great.
But we should probably actually see
great.
about wrapping up. Oh yeah, we're done. It's not even that it's getting late for me. I'm not in work tomorrow. I can be up as late as I want.
True.
Toying with the idea of like taking a half-hour break and coming back and doing like 3 hours of Iron-Hander.
Of what? Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that
Nice.
square shmup that I've been kind of wanting to do for a while.
Yeah.
Well, I could do anything. I don't have to be up in the morning.
Oh.
But yeah, this is going to do it for today's session of Critical Discussions with Clim. I should probably change that to Critical Discussions with Mecha and Clim.
Right. True that.
Or just keep calling it like the Mecha Climcast.
Yeah. Yes.
Like I said, I think we got some good discussions down today.
Yeah, I think it was good.
Yeah.
A lot of content.
A lot of content. We'll be back next week, same time, 8 PM British Summer Time, which is 3 PM America time.
Yep.
I'm gonna keep doing that. I mentioned that the other day.
Yeah.
I just said like 3 PM America time. I'm gonna keep doing that.
Right.
I think Teak's on like a different time zone. So like if I'm ever streaming with Teak, I'll be like, yeah, 3 like whatever time it is for Teak, America time.
Right.
Like, just be fine. Like figure out what I mean. Not my fault your country's stupid big. But yeah, 8 PM British Summer Time, 3 PM America time. Well, like I say, it'll be. I'm gonna call like that in this entire sequence coming up like Terra's Flight.
Okay.
Which the introduction of the Esper form. I'll probably remember to bring this up next week, but if you haven't, look up what Terra's Esper form is supposed to look like in the Amado artwork.
Okay.
Because it looks kind of cool in the sprite, but it's supposed to be monstrous.
Okay.
Yeah. Like really inhuman.
Interesting.
But the way it looks in sprite, like, the hair turns white, she turns white, and she's like nude, but there's nothing visible, kind of thing.
Right.
Like a Zora. If you know what I'm
Yes.
talking about. But like it's supposed to be inhuman and monstrous.
Hmm.
So that'll be worth bringing up again next week.
Okay.
Yeah, that's probably gonna be like all of next week. Terra's Flight.
Hmm.
Because that's a long sequence. Going infiltrate Vex is like an hour and a half at least.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll be back tomorrow. I want to wrap up Skies of Arcadia as soon as possible, so we're going to keep doing that until I'm done, and then get back to the 10 years of Resident Evil. It's not because I'm currently in the process of Code Veronica. It's a fortunate coincidence, but it's not the reason. Like, we're close to the end, and like I've done all the discoveries, I've done all the moonfish. We have 3 dungeons worth of chests left. There's like 11 chests left in the game. And like once that's done, and the 2 chams that are in the final dungeon, that's it. That's everything. And the only thing that'll be left is if I want to do the 3 secrets, I need to kill 2,500 enemies, which will be an off-stream thing, and then we can do the 3 secret stuff. Which is
Nice.
An extra discovery, I think maybe a ship battle, and a super boss. But yeah, that's me. 10 years of Resident Evil will return with Code Veronica when I'm done with that. Clim, do you have anything you want to plug? You are currently between games again, aren't you?
I am between games again. Yeah, believe it or not, I finished Resident Evil last week. I was thinking about doing an RPG. I was thinking about doing Final Fantasy VII. It's about time I've played it again and give it a proper showing on the stream because last time it got eaten by blocked scenes. So I think I might play that.
Are you gonna swap it around from when we did it and you'll be Cloud and I'll be Barrett this time?
I don't know what I'll name everybody.
I'll be honest with you, I was expecting you to just call Cloud Buttman again.
I might just do that. Yeah.
It's like, you brought it back for 5, and it feels like it's a tradition at this point.
I know, it really does.
I called Griever Buttman in my FF8 playthrough.
Right.
But yeah, if Clim's doing Final Fantasy VII, that's definitely something to look forward to. Clim is very knowledgeable about Final Fantasy VII.
I know things.
He knows some things about Final Fantasy VII.
I know some things.
Do you have a version in mind that you're planning to do? Like, presumably you'll be in PS1.
Yeah, I haven't decided. I'm either gonna emulate PS1 or I'll play the PS4 port, just because it's streamlined.
Yeah.
I don't know.
With a capture card this time.
With a capture card this time, yeah. I might do just emulation because I do like just having everything in front of me. Because when I play on the TV, then I have to glance over back and forth. So we'll see. Haven't decided.
Yeah, being able to just like quick look at the chat without moving your head is very convenient.
Yeah.
So
we'll see.
Are you planning anything for October? Any Halloween streams? Or are you just gonna not bother?
I wasn't. I might throw another Resident Evil in there one day. We'll see. I don't have any plans though. I just kind of wing it.
I know a lot of people do tend to do something over October, horror themed.
Yeah.
I only do it mostly because it's an excuse to focus on some horror stuff. It's an excuse, really, for me.
Yeah, I get it.
Yeah.
I might. I don't know. I didn't have any plans to, though.
So for me, it's going to be Halloween, where we'll be doing some horror stuff. We have Kudelka lined up as the RPG we'll be doing. And then there's other stuff, Silent Hill for the Room, Clock Tower the First Fear, Condemned, Criminal Origins. Parasite Eve isn't in there, because I want to do Parasite Eve at some point. I don't want to tie that to a specific month.
Right.
Until Dawn, that'll be a first playthrough. I've never finished that before. Pretty sure there's other stuff, I don't remember what it is. Which means I need to wrap up what I'm currently doing.
Right.
I might take Outbreak and Outbreak File 2 out of the 10 years of Resident Evil. Specifically because, like, the multiplayer thing, we'll have to see about getting a point when people are available for it. Right. So that could just be a thing of whenever we can.
Right.
What does that leave me with? Rest of Code Veronica, Survivor 2, Gaiden. Remake and Zero will probably be sizable. Remake, because, like, I am so out of practice with the remake. And I've got to do both characters. Zero just because it's long and fucking boring.
Right.
RE4, I'm confident I can do in 3 sessions.
Okay.
2 if I push it. But, like, Village, Castle, Island is reasonable. But that's me. That's the stuff I have coming up.
Sounds good.
Yeah, there's not really anything else going on. You got anything you want to plug, Clim, before we go?
No, we went over it. I stream on Saturdays. I stream once a week. That's it. I play a game. I have fun. Like I said, I wing it. A lot of times I decide the morning of.
I used to do that. Even there was a point when even when I was trying to have things in like a list, It'd be like I'd get to the point, oh, I'm supposed to be doing this today, and I don't feel like it, so I'd agonize over what I actually want to do,
Yeah.
and then just end up doing whatever.
Yeah, I try not to do that. Yep.
It's why I did like RE2 as many times as I did, like in the first year and a half of streaming, because it was something I could just do in a single sitting.
Yeah.
And it didn't take a whole lot of effort. And the downside of that is now I don't really want to play the game anymore.
Right.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Clim and I will be back next Sunday, 8 PM British Summer Time, 3 PM America Time. Clim will be back 12 PM America Time on Saturday. I will be back tomorrow at some point. Probably 2 streams tomorrow. Afternoon stream and evening stream to try and do Skies of Arcadia. Take advantage of being off. And yeah, that's pretty much it. I'm going to press this enter button, and because we've got hunting lined up in the sound queue, I'm going to press this right now.
Cool.
That's a good one. Digital Devil Saga, gotta get back to it at some point. Clim, are you gonna stream Digital Devil Saga?
It's a good question. I need to buy it.
Yes.
Or do I? Maybe I don't.
If you can emulate PS2, great. If you can't, and like you've got to play it off a PS2, I think the price of it's jumped way up. I've been talking with Chance for a while, every now and then on stream. Like, the PS2 SMT games have really jumped in price.
Okay.
I am fortunate that I own all of them, and that I bought pretty much all of them before they jumped up crazy in price.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's pretty much it. Before we get sidetracked on a discussion about Little Devil Saga and how it's a great game.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So, any parting words you want to throw out, Clim?
No, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. This was fun. We had a lot of good talk. I look forward to more.
Any words of advice you want to give the chat?
Drink your Ovaltine.
You heard the man. And so, I haven't thanked everybody in the chat. I want to thank everybody in the chat. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Who do we have? Clim was in the chat a little bit. Teak, Bane, Magic, Cat, Star, Queen. I think that's everybody. Teak, Cat, Star, Bane. Yep, that seems to have been everybody. Thanks so much for joining us. Chat is always the best part of the stream. Oh yeah, the Spiz.
Spiz.
Why didn't you remind us of the Spiz, Clem?
Because I don't remember people like you do.
But the Spiz is like your personal friend. You'd be like, oh
This
wait,
is
what
true.
about my personal friend who popped in to show his support?
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm a terrible person, so.
Oh, but
That
yeah,
hurts.
that's pretty much it. Thank you all for watching. Thank you so much for the support. I always really appreciate it. Joining the chat is always the best part of the stream. Clim says to drink your Ovaltine. I don't think that's a thing we have over here in the UK, so we're safe. But if you live in the US and you have Ovaltine at your local grocery store, you are now obligated to go and drink it. He didn't say buy your Ovaltine, he said drink it. So if you don't want to buy it, don't, but you are still obligated to drink it.
Right, of course.
But yeah, with that, thank you all for watching. Have yourselves a fantastic time of day, and take care. Don't fucking
See you
copy me,
guys.
Clim. Don't do that at the same time I do.
Sorry.
We'll catch you
Didn't
next.
mean to.
The timing of that actually worked out. Like, if you go back, did you watch that on stream? Like, we both did it at the same time.
I saw it on stream. That was insane.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's two things we've done like in sync today.
Jeez.
Like that and telling Gao not to drag his ass on the floor.
Right. That was too good.
We'll catch you next time, guys. Goodbye.
Bye.
Wanna take you for a ride.